The divine sword is invincible. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 626, Heavenly Emperor Secret Realm. Listening to the angry roar of Su Yang, the leader of the 9 Nether Demon clan, behind him, Yang Xiaoshan sneered, "I forgot to tell you that I took away those holy spiritual stones from your 9 Nether Demon clan's treasury, let alone the holy spiritual stones he had obtained before. The thousands of holy spiritual stones he had just taken from the 9 Nether Demon clan's treasury would be enough for him to use for several years." When Su Yang heard that those holy spiritual stones in the treasury were taken away by Yang Xiaoshan, he was stunned, and then he was full of murderous intent. "It was you. Since those holy spiritual stones were taken away by Yang Xiaoshan, then the 7th heaven tribulation Thunderwater and the Kangshen armor were also taken away by Yang Xiaoshan. His disciple was also killed by Yang Xiaoshan. You killed my disciple." Su Yang slashed wildly. An unrivaled sword energy actually spanned 1,000 miles and slashed towards the Abyss spaceship. But when the unrivaled sword energy slashed, the Abyss spaceship suddenly teleported to the side to avoid the sword energy slash. The sword energy cut through the air and fell on the distant mountains. Boom. I saw that the peaks of the distant mountains were cut in half one by one. An incomparable and terrifying rift stretched all the way to the end of the Poison Mist Island. Seeing the huge rift caused by the sword energy, Yang Xiaoshan was also shocked. This leader of the 9 Nether Demon clan has the blood of the prehistoric 9 Nether Demon clan, and his combat power is far beyond many 10th level peak masters of the gods. I'm afraid that the god Emperor Di Yunshan of the Kingdom of Stars is inferior to this leader of the 9 Nether Demon clan. Yang Xiaoshan continued to drive the Abyss spaceship with all his strength. Su Yang continued to chase with all his strength, and from time to time he slashed out the sword energy with all his strength. The loud rumbling sound continued. I saw that one mountain after another on the ground of the Poison Mist Island was cut in half by Su Yang's incomparable sword energy. After several hours, the ground of the Poison Mist Island was chopped beyond recognition. The terrifying rifts crisscrossed and shocked people. Seeing that Su Yang was always chasing behind him, and from time to time he slashed out 1,000-mile sword energy, Yang Xiaoshan deliberately flew in the direction of the 9 Nether Demon clan's disciples' palace. Under Su Yang's sword energy, the 9 Nether Demon clan's disciples' palace was constantly chopped and exploded into powder. Seeing Su Yang's terrifying sword energy slashing down, the 9 Nether Demon clan disciples were scared to death. Even many 9 Nether Demon clan masters in the spirit realm were running away in fear when facing Su Yang's terrifying sword energy. When Yang Xiaoshan drove the spaceship to the 9 Nether Demon clan's disciples' palace, he occasionally urged the power of the 2 million-year soul beasts to punch the 9 Nether Demon clan disciples, or he used all the 9 great swords to strike with all his strength. Su Yang was behind him to make up for him, and he was in front of those 9 Nether Demon clan disciples to make up for him with a punch or a sword with all his strength. Su Yang watched from behind as the 9 Nether Demon clan disciples were constantly blasted and blown away by Yang Xiaoshan, and his killing intent was even more violent and turbulent. However, what made him spit blood was that no matter what method he used, he could never catch up with the Abyss spaceship. Half a day passed. Su Yang was not only unable to capture Yang Xiaoshan, but Yang Xiaoshan killed dozens of 9 Nether Demon clan masters in the Divine Realm along the way. As for those below the Divine Realm, there were countless of them. Su Yang gnashed his teeth in the back, but even if he wanted to peel Yang Xiaoshan's skin, he still couldn't do anything to Yang Xiaoshan. The 9 Nether Demon ki rose all over his body. He didn't expect that the opponent, a Saint Realm, actually had a true god level spaceship. A day passed. Su Yang was still chasing him. Yang Xiaoshan was still in front of him and kept killing the 9 Nether Demon clan masters who blocked him. If he met those masters above the 7th level of the Divine Realm, Yang Xiaoshan didn't get entangled with them, but avoided them. He specialized in killing those at the 4th level of the Divine Realm and below. Even so, Yang Xiaoshan's points continued to rise and soon rose to the top of the list and firmly occupied the top. The other disciples who entered the Poison Mist Island were lucky to be able to protect themselves in the face of the pursuit of the 9 Nether Demon Clan Masters, so how could they spare both hands to kill the 9 Nether Demon Clan Masters of the Divine Realm? In the square of the Heavenly Palace, the people of the Heavenly Family watched Yangtze Ocean's points continue to rise, firmly occupying the top of the list, while Xian Junheng, the son of the Heavenly Family, could not even squeeze into the top 10, and all of them looked unhappy. 10 days passed. Yangtze Ocean's points continued to rise. Half a month later, he still firmly occupied the first place. Finally, a month was over. When Yangtze Ocean and others were teleported out of the Poison Mist Island by the power of the identity card, everyone looked at Yangtze Ocean and his disciples with colorful faces. When Yangtze Ocean came out, his blue robe was still clean. When Xian Junheng, Chen Kaiming and other disciples were sent out, they were ragged, disheveled, covered in blood, and were abused beyond recognition. Some disciples were even skinny and trembling even when they walked. However, there were also disciples who stayed on the Poison Mist Island forever. Jian Xianjun glanced at the disciples and said, "Take a half-hour break. After half an hour, the top 100 disciples will start the third round of competition." The disciples who had just come out of the Poison Mist Island were so scared that they almost collapsed to the ground when they heard that the third round of competition would start in half an hour. Half an hour later, Jian Xianjun glanced at the disciples and said, "The third round of competition is to enter the Xiandi Secret Realm for trial." Xiandi Secret Realm. All the disciples who entered the third round were overjoyed when they heard it. Xiandi Secret Realm is a treasure land in the Heavenly Court. The spirit of the gods is rich inside. One day of cultivation inside is comparable to several months of hard training outside. There are also many divine level elixirs inside. Compared with the second round of Poison Mist Island, Xiandi Secret Realm is simply a world apart. Yangtze Ocean was also happy because Xiandi Secret Realm is on Xiangxin Island, and the Azure Dragon Divine Fire he was looking for before is in Xiandi Secret Realm. If so, he can take the opportunity to find the Azure Dragon Divine Fire and subdue it. As long as he subdues the Azure Dragon Divine Fire, he will be able to refine the 3 Tribulations Heavenly Grade God Breaking Pill, and he will have a chance to defeat the Storm Medicine God. In the Heavenly Emperor Secret Realm, there is the Heavenly Emperor Palace. The Heavenly Emperor Palace has a total of 10 floors, and each floor has a test. Jian Xianjun said, "The higher you go, the more difficult the test will be. Whoever can break into the higher floors of the Heavenly Emperor Palace the fastest within a month will be the first in this conferred god battle. The first will also be the successor of His Majesty the Heavenly Emperor." When all the disciples heard this, they were all excited. Everyone knew what it meant to be the successor of the Taishi Heavenly Emperor's mantle. Jian Xianjun said again, "In addition to the Heavenly Emperor Palace, there are other opportunities in the Heavenly Emperor Secret Realm. Any opportunity you get within this month is yours." When all the disciples heard this, they were all excited. There is still a risk of death in the Heavenly Emperor Palace test, so if you can't get through, don't try to be strong. Jian Xianjun finally reminded all the disciples. Then, he opened the transmission channel to Xiangxin Island. In the third round, all the disciples saw the transmission channel open and rushed into the channel impatiently. After Yangtze Ocean entered the channel, the power of space spun, and his body lightened, and he landed on a beautiful island. Chapter 627 Danger of Fall. However, Xian Junheng, Chen Kaiming and others were not seen. Xiangxin Island was as huge as Poison Mist Island. Xian Junheng and others should have been teleported to other places on the island. The spiritual energy of Xiangxin Island was extremely rich. Even in the periphery, there was a faint spiritual energy of the gods. Yangtze Ocean took a deep breath, and his whole body felt refreshed, as if his internal organs were washed. The secret realm of the Emperor of Heaven was in the central area of Xiangxin Island, so Yangtze Ocean paused for a moment, and flew to the central area of Xiangxin Island. On the way, he encountered many holy level spiritual medicines, and Yangtze Ocean did not stop to collect them. Now, the most important thing for him was to break into the Emperor of Heaven's palace first. Everything else was unimportant. Even the Azure Dragon Divine Fire was unimportant. It would not be too late to subdue the Azure Dragon Divine Fire after he broke into the Emperor of Heaven's palace. at full speed. Half a day later, Yang Xiaoshan saw a huge light shield in the middle area of Xiangxin Island. Passing through this light shield was the secret realm of the Emperor of Heaven. Seeing the light shield, Yang Xiaoshan was very excited, and he sped up and finally came to the light shield. The light shield has supreme restrictions, but the disciples who have passed the second round can easily pass through it. After Yang Xiaoshan passed through the light shield, he saw a huge palace standing at the end of the front. The divine power of the palace was overwhelming, and the imperial power was vast. Even though it was extremely far away, the terrifying divine power and imperial power still rushed towards Yang Xiaoshan like a huge wave. Yang Xiaoshan stared at the Xiandi palace at the end of the sky. With such divine power and imperial power, ordinary second level and third level disciples of gods would have difficulty breathing, let alone entering the Xiandi palace to participate in the trial. It seems that the trial of the Xiandi palace is much more difficult than Yang Xiaoshan imagined. Yang Xiaoshan's destiny magic was activated, and the Hunyuan destiny divine light wrapped around his body and flew towards the Xiandi palace. Half an hour later, Yang Xiaoshan arrived at the Xiandi palace. When he got closer, he found that the Xiandi palace was really huge, standing on the island, towering into the sky, and people in front of it were like dust. The door of the Heavenly Emperor Palace was tightly closed. Yang Xiaoshan pushed hard, but it felt as heavy as the ancient sacred mountain. It didn't move at all. Yang Xiaoshan's current push might even push open a city, but he couldn't push open the door in front of him. I don't know what material the door of the Heavenly Emperor Palace is made of, and it is so heavy. A huge stone mirror was suspended in the Xianting Square. On the stone mirror, the picture of the Heavenly Emperor Palace was shown. Everyone could see the situation of Yang Xiaoshan and others through the stone mirror. When Taishi Xiandi saw that Yang Xiaoshan couldn't push the door of the Heavenly Emperor Palace, he smiled to Kishin Yaoshan and Yuan Wei and said, "How long do you think it will take this little guy to push open the door of the Heavenly Emperor Palace?" At the beginning, it took him a full hour to push open the door of the Heavenly Emperor Palace. Kishin Yaoshan smiled and said, "I think it will take at least half a day." Yuan Wei nodded and smiled. "When your majesty entered the Heavenly Emperor Palace for the trial, you were at the 5th level of the Divine Spirit, right? As a generation of Heavenly Emperor, Taishi Xiandi's talent and combat power are beyond doubt. Even so, he, who is at the 5th level of the Divine Spirit, took a full hour to push open the door of the Heavenly Emperor Palace. Yang Xiaoshan is only at the 5th level of the Holy Realm now. If he can push open the door of the Heavenly Emperor Palace in half a day, it is already a rare achievement. Entering the Heavenly Emperor Palace for the trial. In fact, the trial has already begun when you arrive in front of the Heavenly Emperor Palace. Although it did not take half a day as Kishin Yaoshan guessed, it took Yang Xiaoshan more than 3 hours to push open the door of the Heavenly Emperor Palace. After pushing it open, Yang Xiaoshan was panting and almost collapsed from exhaustion. Just now, he did not just push open the door of the Heavenly Emperor Palace. When he pushed the door, he had to withstand the bombardment of the boundless divine power and imperial power of the Heavenly Emperor Palace. When Yang Xiaoshan walked into the Heavenly Emperor Palace, the door of the Heavenly Emperor Palace closed again. Inside the hall, the light was dark. The entire hall was huge, like a large plane. In the center of the hall, stood a statue of the sky. Yang Xiaoshan stared at the statue in front of him and said slowly, "Tehuang Xiandi." Tehuang Xiandi was one of the 17 emperors of the Heavenly Court. He was also a famous emperor in the ancient times. Yang Xiaoshan glanced at the hall. There was nothing else in the hall except the statue of the emperor. Jian Xianjin only said that entering the Xiandi hall was to participate in the trial, but he did not say how to start the trial. Therefore, how to start the trial, Yang Xiaoshan had to figure it out by himself. Yang Xiaoshan came to the statue of Tehuang Xiandi. When he got closer, he found that there were thin lines on the statue. These lines were like runes to open the formation. Yang Xiaoshan's heart moved, and he flew around the statue. Finally, he put his palm on the hand of the statue and urged the Hongmeng holy power. Suddenly, the statue of the emperor was shining. Yuan Wei saw this scene and said with a smile, "Finally, the first level of the trial is about to start. I just don't know if this little guy can condense the first Heavenly Emperor mark." After each level of the trial is passed, the Heavenly Emperor Hall will reward the person according to the completion of the test. For example, the reward is the cultivation level. The highest reward is the Heavenly Emperor mark. However, it is extremely difficult to get the Heavenly Emperor mark. For example, many evil geniuses usually take a day to complete the first level of the trial. If you want to get the Heavenly Emperor mark reward, you must complete the first level of the trial within an hour. It is already very difficult to complete the trial in a day, let alone an hour. It's hard to say. Kishan Yeo Shen shook his head. To complete the trial quickly, not only talent and combat power are required, but also luck. Because each level of the trial has several difficulties such as ordinary difficulty and very difficult. If the trial is of ordinary difficulty, it is easier to complete. If you are unlucky and the trial is of very difficult difficulty, it is almost impossible to get the Heavenly Emperor mark. I hope this little guy gets more Heavenly Emperor marks than me. Taishi Shiandi smiled. When he entered the Heavenly Emperor Palace for the trial, he obtained 9 Heavenly Emperor seals. There are a total of 17 Heavenly Emperors in the Heavenly Court. If all Heavenly Emperor seals are collected, there will be 17 Heavenly Emperor seals. However, it is more difficult than ascending to heaven to collect all the Heavenly Emperor seals. No Heavenly Emperor has ever been able to collect all the Heavenly Emperor seals. As Yang Zai Ocean's holy power covered all the veins of the Heavenly Emperor statue, suddenly, a flash of light appeared, and the scene in front of him changed. Yang Zai Ocean had come to a dark demon world. The sky and the ground were full of dark demons, covering the sky and the earth, and there was no end. The end of the dark demon world was the exit. At this time, billions of dark demons rushed towards Yang Zai Ocean. Yang Zai Ocean took a deep breath, and the Eternal Divine Body and the Hunio and Destiny Divine Body were activated, breaking through the air and blasting directly to the exit at the end. These dark demons were not strong, only the first level of the Divine Spirit. Yang Zai Ocean's 2 divine bodies were fully activated, like an invincible rocket, constantly blasting these dark demons away and exploding. But there were too many dark demons, densely packed, constantly attacking. Even though Yang Zai Ocean had 2 great divine bodies, his speed was greatly hindered. Although Yang Zai Ocean's fighting power was amazing, he felt his scalp tingling when he saw the endless dark demons in front of him. Only then did he understand what Jan Xianjin meant when he said that there was still a danger of death in the Xiandi Palace trial. If his holy power was exhausted and he could not hold on to the exit, he would surely be buried in the hands of these dark demons. What was in front of him was not an illusion. These dark demons were all real. Chapter 628, The First Heavenly Emperor Seal. At that moment, Yang Zai Ocean held the Kangshan sword and Tangshan sword, and the 15 sword hearts were activated. The sword energy of the 2 great swords burst out, constantly strangling the millions of dark demons that rushed over. With the sword energy of the 2 great swords strangling, Yang Zai Ocean's speed was much faster. But these dark demons kept coming. Yang Zai Ocean strangled 110,000 rushed up. Yang Zai Ocean strangled 10,000, and 1,000,000 rushed up. If this goes on, Zai Ocean may not be able to get the first destiny mark. Yuan Wei looked at Yang Zai Ocean, who was trapped in the dark demon world, and shook his head. The first level of the trial, which Yang Zai Ocean opened, was the most difficult. It was also the most difficult to pass. With Yang Zai Ocean's combat power, he could pass it, but if he wanted to pass it within an hour, there was little hope. Just as Yuan Wei finished speaking, suddenly, Yang Zai Ocean's whole body was shining, and at the same time he activated the power of the 15 mixed primordial destiny, the 5 great primordial holy fruits, the 2 supreme king martial spirits, and the 2,000,000-year soul rings. All the power gathered around Yang Zai Ocean's body into a terrifying beam of light. Yang Zai Ocean's speed soared, and he instantly plowed away the dark demons in front of him, and blasted forward 1,000 meters away. Yang Zai Ocean continued to mobilize all his power, and continued to blast forward. Every breath was 1,000 meters. After a while, he had advanced hundreds of miles. However, although Yang Zai Ocean's progress increased greatly, the consumption of holy power was too great. Even if his holy power was extremely strong, he could not support the exit with such consumption. Therefore, every time he advanced 10,000 miles, Yang Zai Ocean swallowed a mouthful of 6-fold heavenly tribulation thunder water. After Yang Zai Ocean swallowed 10 mouthfuls of sixfold heavenly tribulation thunder water, he finally saw the bright exit at the end of the darkness. Looking at the bright exit that was so close, Yang Zai Ocean tried his best to blast away all the millions of dark demons in front of him. When he flashed out of the dark demon world, Yang Zai Ocean's whole body relaxed, and he felt exhausted. This little guy actually has so much sixfold heavenly tribulation thunder water, he is lucky. Yuan Wei smiled. Just now, Yang Zai Ocean barely passed the first level of the Dark Demon World trial after nearly an hour. So, Yang Zai Ocean was lucky. In the path of cultivation, talent and hard work are important, but luck is equally important. At the moment when Yang Zai Ocean passed the Dark Demon World trial, suddenly, the space of the Heavenly Emperor Palace surged with light, and a golden mark condensed and imprinted on Yang Zai Ocean's forehead. At the same time, the surging Heavenly Emperor's ki rushed into Yang Zai Ocean's body frantically, and continuously transformed into Yang Zai Ocean's holy power. Yang Zai Ocean, who was originally in the 5th middle stage of the Holy Realm, continued to improve his realm and soon reached the peak of the 5th middle stage of the Holy Realm, and then successfully broke through to the 5th late stage of the Holy Realm. Yang Zai Ocean was surprised. I didn't expect that passing the trial would also have a cultivation reward, and it directly allowed him to break through from the 5th middle stage of the Holy Realm to the 5th late stage. If so, if he broke into the 10th floor of the Heavenly Emperor Palace, wouldn't he be able to break through to the 6th middle stage of the Holy Realm or even higher? Yang Zai Ocean touched his forehead. Heavenly Emperor mark. It seems that, if you can pass each level of the trial at a very fast speed, there will be a Heavenly Emperor mark reward. Yang Zai Ocean didn't know what the Heavenly Emperor seal was for now, but since it was a reward from the Heavenly Emperor Palace, it must be extremely extraordinary. Therefore, Yang Zai Ocean secretly made up his mind to strive to get all the Heavenly Emperor seals on each level. Yang Zai Ocean came to the door of the 2nd level hall and pushed it hard. Just like the door of the 1st level hall, it was extremely heavy, which made Yang Zai Ocean smile bitterly, seeing that he had to use all his strength to push it. Outside the square, the people of the Shan family saw that Yang Zai Ocean had perfectly passed the 1st level Dark Demon World trial and got the Heavenly Emperor seal reward, and their faces were gloomy. Don't worry, sir, this competition is about who can reach a higher level. Even if Yang Zai Ocean gets the Heavenly Emperor seal of the 1st level, it doesn't matter, an old ancestor of the Shan family said. Yes, even if Yang Zai Ocean gets more Heavenly Emperor seals, it's useless. Maybe he won't be able to pass the 4th level. Another old ancestor of the Shan family also said. The first 3 levels of the Heavenly Emperor Palace are the easiest, but after the 4th level, it will become more and more difficult. Sometimes, good talents and strong combat power cannot pass the 4th level. Shan Zai King's face looked better. After Yang Zai Ocean pushed open the door of the 2nd floor hall, he came to the hall. The statue of the 2nd floor hall was Emperor Han Meng. Emperor Han Meng was also an emperor in the ancient times. Yang Zai Ocean used the same method to open the 2nd floor trial. In the blink of an eye, he came to a world of ice and snow. However, in this world of ice and snow, the snow was grey and black, and the whole world was dim and lightless, like a dream. Looking at the falling grey and black ice and snow, Yang Zai Ocean suddenly felt dizzy and drowsy. Just when Yang Zai Ocean's head was dizzy, and he was about to fall asleep, suddenly, Yang Zai Ocean woke up suddenly. When he woke up, he saw that the grey and black snowflakes falling from the sky had covered his lower body, and it was covering his whole body at an alarming speed. Yang Zai Ocean felt that his soul was about to be frozen, and he was so scared that he urged the Han Meng holy power, which shook off the black snowflakes all over his body. Yang Zai Ocean looked at the falling black snowflakes again, and felt his hair stand on end. Fortunately, his soul power was extremely strong, otherwise he would have been frozen into an ice sculpture after falling into a dream just now. The black snowflakes were condensed from an extremely cold ice gas. If they were completely covered, even his soul and the holy power of the Sea of Gods would be frozen. At that time, it would be difficult for Yang Zai Ocean to escape. If the Emperor of Heaven is not careful, it will be doomed. Yang Zai Ocean did not dare to be careless again. He activated the power of the eternal divine body and the Hunyuan Xianming divine body, directly breaking through the heavy snowflakes and flying to the exit in front. The time power of the eternal divine body continued to turn the falling extremely cold snowflakes into time sand. However, the further he flew forward, the denser the snowflakes became. Even if the time power of the eternal divine body could turn these snowflakes into time sand, Yang Zai Ocean's speed would be greatly hindered. Seeing this, Yang Zai Ocean could only activate the power of the Hongmeng Holy Fruit. The light of the 5 Hongmeng Holy Fruits soared into the sky, and the Hongmeng Holy Power continued to devour these extremely cold snowflakes. But as he flew forward, Yang Zai Ocean slowed down again. He had no choice but to summon the Purple Starfire. Purple Starfire. Seeing Yang Zai Ocean's Purple Starfire, everyone was surprised. This little guy even subdued the Purple Starfire. Yuan Wei exclaimed. It seems that this little guy has a lot of secrets. Taishi Xiandi laughed. It was incredible that Yang Zai Ocean, a saint realm, could subdue the Purple Starfire, that even the powerful gods could not subdue. With the power of the Purple Starfire, Yang Zai Ocean's speed increased again, and finally flew out of the cold dream world in nearly an hour. When Yang Zai Ocean flew out of the cold dream world, the sky and the earth were bright again. The light of the Emperor's palace surged, and the vast Emperor's aura poured into his body. His realm rose again, breaking through to the peak of the 5th late stage of the Saint Realm. Only one step away from breaking through the 6th level of the Saint Realm. Chapter 629. You're not dead, so I won't die. At the same time, the second Heavenly Emperor seal condensed and sank into Yang Zai Ocean's forehead. As the 2 Heavenly Emperor seals merged, the Heavenly Emperor seal on Yang Zai Ocean's forehead became brighter. Just as everyone was watching Yang Zai Ocean, Xianjun Heng and others in the Heavenly Emperor Palace trial, suddenly, a Heavenly God General came to Giant Xianjun in panic and fear. Sir, something happened. Something happened. Giant Xianjun looked at the panicked face of the God General under his command, and had a bad premonition in his heart. What happened? Something happened on the Poison Mist Island. All the armies of the Heavenly Court have lost contact. The God General hurriedly reported. Giant Xianjun, Zio Xianjun, the 10 Heavenly Lords, and the God Generals at the scene all changed their faces. During the second round of trials on the Poison Mist Island, the Heavenly Court had already sent 1 million troops to garrison around the Poison Mist Island. Once the trial was over, all the 9 Nether Demon Clan disciples on the Poison Mist Island would be wiped out, and it was led by the 9 Dragon God General himself. Now they have lost contact. The 9 Dragons General is the leader of the many generals in the Heavenly Court. His strength is second only to the 10 Heavenly Lords. He is a powerful Heavenly Lord. Moreover, among the millions of troops stationed around the Poison Mist Island, there is not only the 9 Dragons General, but also more than a dozen Heavenly Lords. Giant Xianjun immediately realized the seriousness of the situation, and reported the matter to Taishi Xiandi without caring about anything else. Taishi Xiandi, Yuan Wei, and Kishin Yaoshan were all surprised to learn that the 9 Dragons General had lost contact with the millions of Heavenly Court troops. Your Majesty, I will lead 100 million troops to the Poison Mist Island immediately. Giant Xianjun said in a deep voice. Taishi Xiandi's eyes were deep. No, I want to go there in person. All the Heavenly Lords were shocked. Your Majesty, absolutely not. Giant Xianjun tried to persuade him. If you go, I'm afraid it will be useless. Taishi Xiandi pondered. Your Majesty, I will go with you. Yuan Wei said on the side. Okay. Taishi Xiandi did not refuse, and then said to Giant Xianjun, the conferred God war continues. If there is any unusual movement in the Heavenly Court, we will do our best to suppress it. Yes, Your Majesty. Immediately, Taishi Xiandi opened the space channel that was transmitted to the Poison Mist Island, and he and Yuan Wei flashed into the space channel, and disappeared in front of everyone. This time, Taishi Xiandi did not bring many people, just the 2 of them. Soon, the 2 arrived at the Poison Mist Island. Sure enough, when they came to the place where the millions of Heavenly Court troops were stationed, they saw that the millions of Heavenly Court troops were dead all over the land, and the blood dyed the endless land red. Even the surrounding seas were dyed red with blood. Taishi Xiandi's face sank. Even Yuan Wei clenched his fists. These troops, but a full million, and all of them are the elite of the Heavenly Court. Taishi Shiandi walked among the corpses of these troops without saying a word, and a murderous aura that changed the color of the world permeated his body. Suddenly, he stopped and walked towards the corpse of the 9 Dragon God General in the distance. The body of the 9 Dragon God General was face down and back up. When the Taishi Shiandi was about to turn the body over, suddenly, the body opened its eyes and opened its mouth, and countless poison needles flew out, shooting directly into the eyes of the Taishi Shiandi. These poison needles were tempered with the most poisonous substance in the world. Even if a peak heavenly god of the 10th layer was poisoned, it would be fatal. When the opponent spit out the poison needles, one hand suddenly blasted towards the heart of the Taishi Shiandi. The other hand punched the throat of the Taishi Shiandi. Whether it is the eyes, heart or throat, they are the weakest points of human body defense. The opponent suddenly attacked, caught off guard, and was so strong that Yuan Wen's face changed. At this moment, suddenly, in the void, a huge devil's hand stretched out towards the Taishi Shiandi, and another figure stabbed Yuan Wen's back with a sword. At this critical moment, the Taishi Shiandi turned his head to avoid countless poison needles. At the same time, the divine light of his whole body exploded like an eternal volcano. Boom. When the divine light of his whole body exploded, the world shook. The terrifying power swept across the world, and the boundless sea raised huge waves of thousands of feet. The great beginning emperor slapped the void demon palm with one palm at an incredible speed, and slapped the 9 Dragon God General on the ground with another palm. Almost when the divine light of the great beginning emperor exploded, the millions of sword ki in Yuan Wen's body also exploded. The sky and the ground were full of Yuan Wen's sword ki. The figure that originally attacked Yuan Wen was shocked and dodged back repeatedly. When the opponent dodged back, his figure was blurred and completely integrated into the world, as if he had become a shadow. Countless sword ki passed through his body. The 9 Dragon God General rotated his whole body and turned into a stream of light, avoiding the palm of the great beginning emperor. He hit the heart of the great beginning emperor with one palm. There was a loud bang. The great beginning emperor hit the earth with one palm. The earth sank. The whole land was actually exploded and turned into nothingness, bottomless. Yuan Wen's millions of sword energies blasted into the distant islands and mountains. All the islands and mountains were blasted into powder by the sword energy. The huge devil's palm in the void slammed into the palm of Taishi Shiandi. In the sky shaking roar, countless airwaves caused the surrounding sea to explode. In the blink of an eye, the world was destroyed. Taishi Shiandi's heart was hit by the palm of the 9 Dragon God General, and he also retreated a few steps, but his face did not change, and he looked at the 9 Dragon God General coldly. Who are you? Obviously, the other party was not the 9 Dragon God General. Old Taishi, it's only been a few million years since we last met, and you don't recognize your old friend so soon. The 9 Dragon God General smiled, and his appearance changed, turning into an old man with demonic energy all over his body. Seeing the old man, Yuan Wen's face changed. 9 Nether Demon Lord. The person who came was the patriarch of the 9 Nether Demon clan back then. The 9 Nether Demon Lord smiled sinisterly. Boy, are you the disciple of the old man who is immortal? The #1 sword god in the sword god temple now? You have practiced the immortal sword energy well. At this time, a huge demon appeared in the void. This demon was as big as a mountain, with blood-red eyes, and spewed endless blood-colored demon energy. It was the mount of the 9 Nether Demon Lord, the Blood Demon Beast. The Blood Demon Beast was as strong as the 9 Nether Demon Lord, and was one of the overlords of the boundless demon domain. The other master who attacked Yuan Wen also showed up. The opponent was full of demon energy, and held a blood-red demon sword. Blood Hell Sword Demon. Yuan Wen recognized the person and his face was solemn. The Blood Hell Sword Demon was one of the mortal enemies of his master, the immortal sword god. The 9 Nether Demon Lord's eyes fell on the Taishi Emperor, and he said, 7 top divine bodies. Taishi, your 7 top divine bodies are really enviable. You are fine. After being hit by my palm, the 7-colored divine light floated all over the Taishi Emperor's body, and there was no wound on the heart where the 9 Nether Demon Lord had just hit him. The Taishi Emperor looked at the 9 Nether Demon Lord coldly. I didn't expect you are not dead yet. Millions of years ago, the 9 Nether Demon Lord should have died, and he killed him back then. You are not dead, so of course I will not die. The 9 Nether Demon Lords sneered. But, old Taishi, this is where you will be buried today. All of you come out. Meet His Majesty Taishi of the Heavenly Court. As the 9 Nether Demon Lord finished speaking, dozens of figures flew out of the void. The aura of each figure was as strong as that of the 9 Nether Demon Lord and the Blood Hell Sword Demon. Chapter 630, The Ancient Corpse Demon Clan. Looking at the dozens of figures that appeared, the great beginning emperor suddenly swelled up all over, and was as big as a mountain. He suddenly slapped at the 9 Nether Demon Lord. Kill. The vast divine power flooded the heaven and earth. I could kill you once back then, and I can kill you a second time now. The voice of the great beginning emperor resounded throughout the boundless sea. The 9 Nether Demon Lord's whole body was filled with demonic energy like the sea, and he also slapped out with a palm. Heavenly Demon Palm. A huge demon palm met the palm power of the great beginning emperor. At the same time, the blood demon beast also slapped out with a palm. There was a loud bang. The 9 Nether Demon Lord and the blood demon beast were also shocked and retreated repeatedly. The great beginning emperor stood still like an ancient divine mountain. The 9 Nether Demon Lord was shocked. The great beginning emperor's lifespan was about to end. His blood and ki had declined, but his strength was still so tyrannical. 9 Nether Killer God. Dozens of the 9 Nether Demon clan's ancestors shot up at the same time and slapped at the great beginning emperor with both palms. The eyes of the great emperor of heaven were cold, and the 7 divine lights on his body surged endlessly. The heavy divine power supported the sky, and an extremely huge godhead flew into the sky. Top grade godhead. And it was the top grade godhead. Then, one after another, the top grade godheads flew out. No more, no less. 7 top grade godheads. The terrifying divine power ravaged the world. The great millstone of Hunalan. The great emperor of heaven supported the sky with his palms, and the 7 divine powers condensed into a huge millstone. The huge millstone rotated with terrifying power, and the space collapsed. The palm power of dozens of ancestors of the 9 Nether Demon clan was wiped out by the great millstone of Hunalan. Yuan Wei and the Blood Hell Sword Demon also fought together. The sword energy of the two was invincible, and countless miles of sea area were twisted by the sword energy of the two. Wherever the sword energy passed, everything turned into nothingness. In an instant, the two were thousands of swords. The sword energy kept exploding, like a terrifying hurricane that kept colliding and exploding. The two sides fought hard. The great beginning heavenly emperor was tall and majestic, standing tall in the heaven and earth. With every move of his hands and feet, he was full of the power to destroy the heaven and earth. Even if he fought against dozens of 9 Nether Demon Lords alone, he would not lose. The demonic energy in 9 Nether Demon Lord's body became stronger and stronger. He sneered as he slapped his palm. Taishi, your lifespan is almost over. If you continue to use your Dharma body like this, I wonder how long you can hold on. The great beginning heavenly emperor used up a lot of ki and blood to use his 10,000 feet Dharma body. If the great beginning heavenly emperor had a strong vitality, it would be nothing to use his 10,000 feet Dharma body. However, the great beginning heavenly emperor's vitality has begun to dry up now, and his ki and blood are no longer as good as before. He can't support his 10,000 feet Dharma body at all. If this continues, the great beginning heavenly emperor's vitality and ki and blood will be further consumed. Although my lifespan is about to end, I still have hundreds of years, which is enough to kill you. The great beginning heavenly emperor's voice was like a bell, and he suddenly slapped down with his palm. Instantly, the surrounding seas and islands were all blown up. A great ancestor of the 9 Nether Demon clan was slapped away, and cracks appeared on his whole body. The face of Jiuya Demon Lord darkened. He originally thought that the lifespan of Taishi Xiandi was coming to an end and his strength was limited, but he did not expect that he was still so powerful. Taishi, don't you find it strange that we know where the millions of troops of the heavenly court are hiding? Jiuya Demon Lord suddenly changed his palm into a fist, and with one punch, he destroyed the ancient times, and killed all the gods, and blasted towards Taishi Xiandi. To tell you the truth, among the 10 great celestial monarchs under your command, there are our people. Jiuya Demon Lord laughed wildly, and kept attacking, and his strength gradually increased. The face of the great beginning emperor was normal. Really? Seeing that the great beginning emperor was unmoved, the 9 Nether Demon Lord laughed. Are you surprised and surprised? In fact, not only do we have people among the 10 great heavenly lords, but we also have people among many of your god generals. If not, how could the 9 dragon god generals be killed so easily by us? If not, how could your millions of heavenly court troops be wiped out by us without a sound? The more the 9 nether demon lords spoke, the more bloodthirsty his eyes became. You don't know how helpless and desperate their eyes were when your millions of heavenly court troops were slaughtered by us. Just as the 9 nether demon lords said this, the great beginning emperor's body suddenly swelled again, and suddenly sucked into the void. In this suction, the power of the heaven, earth, sun, moon, all the stars, and all the power of the entire heaven and earth seemed to be sucked into his body. Whale King Divine Fist. He punched out with both fists. Countless terrifying powers gathered in his fists and violently shot out. The sky and the earth flickered. The great beginning emperor's eyes were cold, like a god who dominated the world. Feeling the terrifying power of the punch from the great beginning heavenly emperor, the faces of the 9 nether demon lord, the blood demon beast and others changed. Demon holding up the sky. The 9 nether demon lord roared, and the demonic energy in his body soared into the sky, forming a huge sky holding up demon pillar around his body. The blood demon beast and others also made their moves. Even so, the 9 nether demon lord was still blown away by the punch from the great beginning heavenly emperor, and cracks appeared on the sky holding up demon pillar around his body. The 9 nether demon lord's blood was surging, and he almost vomited blood. He was shocked and angry. Taishi, let me tell you, that many of the geniuses who participated in the conferred god battle this time are also our people. Then, he said shockingly, that Yangtze Ocean is one of our people. Seeing that the great beginning heavenly emperor was still unmoved, the 9 nether demon lord laughed wildly and said, he is the descendant of Du and Yang Mu. Sure enough. Hearing that the 9 nether demon lord said that Yangtze Ocean was the descendant of Du and Yang Mu, the great beginning heavenly emperor's eyes condensed, and his face finally changed. Haha, didn't expect it. He is the descendant of Du and Yang Mu. The 9 nether demon lord laughed wildly. Du and Yang Mu has another title. That is Huanquan Patriarch. Bullshit. Yuan Wei couldn't help but get angry when he heard it. Even if he is the descendant of Du and Yang Mu, I was the descendant of the Extreme Ice Demon. The Extreme Ice Demon is also an ancient giant demon that specifically opposes the heavenly court. But Yuan Wei later joined the Sword God Temple and became a disciple of the immortal Sword God. But he worked for the heavenly court. Seeing Yuan Wei's furious look, Jihuai Demon Lord laughed. I didn't expect that the supreme genius with the immortal body, the 15 mixed destiny, and the Hangmeng holy fruit would be ours. Yuan Wei roared, and his whole body was full of immortal sword energy, and he suddenly slashed at Jihuai Demon Lord with a sword. Shut up. Yangtze Ocean is the future emperor of our heavenly court. He will be the strongest emperor in the history of our heavenly court. He will lead the Zhongshan continent to an unprecedented glory. Yuan Wei roared. The Taishi Emperor had a magic sword in his hand. His eyes were cold and his divine power was activated. The magic sword shot out millions of sword ki, killing the Jihuai Demon Lord. No matter what you say, it's useless. Yangtze Ocean is the one I chose. Yuan Wei is right. He will be the strongest emperor in the history of our Zhongshan continent heaven. The Jihuai Demon Lord was full of demonic energy. He waved his hands and the demonic energy turned into millions of demon swords, facing the sword of the Taishi Emperor. This is just a wishful thinking of the two of you. Jihuai Demon Lord said. Old Taishi, let me tell you, this time, it's not just our Jihuai Demon clan that is born. The Xianggu Corpse Demon clan is also born. At this moment, the Xianqi demon god has led millions of demons from the Xianggu Corpse Demon clan to the Xiandi city and the heavenly court. Chapter 631. Danger in Xiandi City. When Taishi Xiandi and Yuan Wei heard that the ancient Corpse Demon clan had appeared, and that the ancient demon god had led hundreds of millions of demons to descend on Xiandi City and heaven, their faces changed. Among the 10 great demon clans in the prehistoric world, the 9 nether demon clan was only ranked last. The ancient Corpse Demon clan ranked 3rd among the 10 great demon clans in the prehistoric world, and its strength was more than 1 point stronger than the 9 nether demon clan. The ancient demon god was even the strongest of the ancient Corpse Demon clan. Seeing the faces of Taishi, Xiandi and Yuan Wei, the 9 Nether Demon Lord laughed wildly. In fact, this time not only the ancient corpse demon clan, but also the Hell Demon clan was born. The King of Hell also led hundreds of millions of Hell Demons to descend on Xiandi City and Heaven. The Hell Demon clan was the 4th of the 10 great demon clans in the prehistoric world. The undefeated Hell God was from the Hell Demon clan. When Taishi, Xiandi and Yuan Wei heard that the Hell Demon clan and the ancient corpse demon clan had joined forces to descend on Xiandi City and Heaven, their hearts sank again. Now, I guess that Xiandi City and the Heavenly Court are already in chaos. Jihuai Demon Lord sneered. However, you two, I'd better worry about whether you can leave here alive. At this moment, countless Jihuai Demon clan masters emerged from the void again. As Jihuai Demon Lord said, at this time, Xiandi City and the Heavenly Court were already in chaos. The sky above Xiandi City and the Heavenly Court Square was filled with dense armies of the ancient corpse demon clan and the Hell Demon clan. The originally clear sky was completely covered by the boundless corpse key, demon key, and underworld key. The entire Xiandi City seemed to have entered the boundless demon world and hell. Ghosts cried and gods howled. No sunlight or light could be seen. Jian Xianjun and the millions of powerful people from Zhongshan continent all changed their faces. The ancient corpse demon clan. The Hell Demon clan. Many ancestors trembled. Jian Xianjun roared in shock and anger. Activate the Xiandi sword formation. As he finished speaking, boundless sword key soared into the sky. The shadows of the heavenly emperors emerged one after another. Their divine might and imperial power shook the heaven and earth. However, there was a big gap in this boundless heavenly emperor sword formation. Obviously, before they came, the ancient Sky Corpse Demon Clan and the Hell Demon Clan had already tampered with the heavenly emperor sword formation. The ancient demon god stood in the sky, looking down at Jian Xianjun and the powerful men of heaven. His cold eyes were as if he was looking at one dead person after another. Today, heaven must be destroyed. Jian Xianjun said sternly, ancient demon god, you are so brave that you dare to attack Xiandi City. Since you are here, don't even think about leaving today. Xiandi City will be your burial place. The King of Hell laughed. You are still stubborn when you are about to die. Let me tell you, the entire Xiandi City has been surrounded by our hundreds of millions of troops. All the space has been cut off by us, and none of you can escape. Don't expect the army of 10 states to come to rescue you. We can destroy Xiandi City in one day. It will take time for the armies of various states in heaven to come. After a few days, when the armies of various states in heaven arrive, Xiandi City will have been destroyed. The ancient demon god of heaven coldly glanced at the masters of the Zhao family, the Temple of Destiny, the Temple of Sword, and the Temple of Medicine. Our target is the heavenly court. I advise you not to interfere in today's affairs. If any family dares to interfere in today's affairs, we will exterminate all 9 of your clans afterwards. The faces of the ancestors of each family changed. Kill. The ancient demon god of heaven fell, holding the spear of wrathful spirits, and suddenly swung it at Jian Xianjun. The spear of wrathful spirits, carrying countless wraiths, passed through the gap in the heavenly emperor's sword formation and shot at Jian Xianjun at an unparalleled speed. The heavenly court is dominated by the heavenly emperor. Without the heavenly emperor, as long as Jian Xianjun, Zhao Xianjun, and Yan Xianjun are killed, half of the heavenly emperor city will be broken. Kill. Jian Xianjun roared, and countless divine swords shot out violently, turning into sword pillars one after another, bombarding the spear of wrathful spirits, and at the same time, one sword pillar after another bombarded the hundreds of millions of ancient corpse demons. Kill. Zhao Xianjun, Yan Xianjun, and countless gods of the heavenly court all took action. Kill. The sword gods of the Sword God Temple led the masters of the Sword God Temple to take action. Under an overturned nest, no egg can be intact. The Medicine God Temple and the Heavenly Emperor City will live and die together. All masters of the Medicine God Temple, listen to my order. Even if you die in battle today, you must defend the Heavenly Emperor City. The voice of the Kishan Medicine God resounded throughout the Heavenly Emperor City. Kill. Kill. Countless masters of the Medicine God Temple took action. The words of the Kishan Medicine God shocked all the masters in the Heavenly Court Square. Master Kishan Medicine God is right. Under an overturned nest, no egg can be intact. Kill. The ancestor of the Zhuanggang Empire shouted, kill. Kill these dog demons. The ancestors of the God's Empire also shouted, everyone in the God's Empire listen to my order, set up the God's formation, and kill. One by one, the ancestors of the empires gave orders. Countless armies of the Heavenly Court continued to pour out of the Heavenly Emperor city. One by one, the ancestors of the sects and families also led their strong men to join the battle. For a moment, the sound of killing shook the sky. The terrifying force shook countless billions of miles. Under the destructive power of the eternal demon god, the king of hell, the heavenly sword lord, the god of medicine, and other masters, space vortexes appeared one after another in the sky above the Emperor city. The world shook. Even the cities a million miles away from the Emperor city changed their faces. The Emperor city is under attack. The army, follow me to help the Emperor city. One after another, millions of troops broke through the air and rushed to the Emperor city. Suddenly, corpses kept falling from the sky like locusts. Boom boom boom. The sound of corpses hitting the ground kept ringing. The ground was bombarded with continuous booms, like an earthquake. Dust rolled, and blood was like a rainstorm. The devil's energy and corpses' energy devoured the world. The sword energy rushed to the sky, constantly tearing the devil's energy and corpses' energy. The Emperor city was as big as a continent. At this moment, every corner of the Emperor city continent was fighting desperately. Fighting for the Emperor city. Fighting for light. In the secret realm of the Heavenly Emperor, Yang Xiaoshan didn't know what was happening outside. At this moment, he was breaking through the third floor of the Heavenly Emperor Hall at an extremely fast speed. The Heavenly Emperor's ki continued to flow into his body and transformed into his holy power. Yang Xiaoshan, who was originally at the peak of the 5th level of the Holy Realm, was radiant with light and finally broke through to the 6th level of the Holy Realm. At the same time, the third Heavenly Emperor mark appeared and merged into Yang Xiaoshan's forehead. The Heavenly Emperor mark on Yang Xiaoshan's forehead became brighter. The third Heavenly Emperor mark. Yang Xiaoshan was delighted, and then pushed open the door to the 4th floor of the hall. What surprised Yang Xiaoshan was that there were 2 Heavenly Emperor statues in the 4th floor hall. Are we going to start 2 trials at the same time? If the 2 trials are carried out at the same time, the difficulty will undoubtedly increase again. Taking a deep breath, Yang Xiaoshan came to the 2 Heavenly Emperor statues, circulated his holy power, and started the trials of the 2 Heavenly Emperor statues. The scenery in front of him changed, and he came to another hall. There were only 2 huge sword pillars in the hall. On the 2 huge sword pillars, each is engraved with a supreme sword technique. Chapter 630 to the last floor. Looking at the 2 huge sword pillars in front of him, Yang Xiaoshan was surprised. He didn't expect that the 4th level was to comprehend the sword skills. Without hesitation, he immediately came to the first sword pillar and began to comprehend. Just when Yang Xiaoshan was comprehending the 4th level of sword pillar skills, suddenly, a large group of dark magic shadows came to the sky above Xiangxin Island. This large group of dark magic shadows was surprisingly the masters of the Xianggu Corpse Demon Clan. Attack. When tens of thousands of Xianggu Corpse Demon Clan masters came to the sky above the Xiandi Secret Realm, they all attacked at the same time and blasted the Xiandi Secret Realm Forbidden Light Shield. Boom. The Xiandi Secret Realm Forbidden Light Shield vibrated violently. However, there was a Xiandi Secret Realm Forbidden Light Shield blocking it, so Yang Xiaoshan and others in the Xiandi Hall did not feel the vibration. The sword pillar skills of the 4th level trial are very profound, but for Yang Xiaoshan who has 15 sword hearts, it is not difficult. Therefore, within an hour, Yang Xiaoshan successively comprehended the sword skills of the 2 sword pillars. What surprised Yang Xiaoshan was that, after passing the 4th level trial, he got the 4th and 5th Heavenly Emperor seals. After getting the 2 Heavenly Emperor kiss on the 4th level, his strength broke through to the middle stage of the 6th level of the Holy Realm. Next, it was the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th levels of trials. After the 4th level trial, each level had 2 Heavenly Emperor statues. So starting from the 4th level trial, Yang Xiaoshan had to pass 2 trials on each level. When Yang Xiaoshan passed the 8th level trial at a very fast speed, he had already obtained 13 Heavenly Emperor seals. After getting the 8th level of Heavenly Emperor Key, his strength not only broke through to the 7th level of the Holy Realm, but also broke through to the middle stage of the 7th level of the Holy Realm. Originally, Yang Xiaoshan thought that, after breaking through the 10th level of the Heavenly Emperor Palace, his strength would be able to break through to the middle stage of the 6th level of the Holy Realm, but he didn't expect that starting from the 4th level, he could get to Heavenly Emperor Kiss to be filled in his body every time he passed a level. At this rate, he would pass through the 10th level of the Heavenly Emperor Palace, and even if he didn't break through to the 8th level of the Holy Realm, it would not be far away. When Yang Xiaoshan pushed open the 9th floor hall, he found that there were not 2 Heavenly Emperor statues on the 9th floor, but 3. The 3 Heavenly Emperor statues stood in the center of the hall, and a monstrous imperial power swept the world. Even though Yang Xiaoshan had broken through to the 7th intermediate stage of the Saint Realm, facing the imperial power of the 3 great emperors, it was extremely difficult to even take a step forward. At this time, Yang Xiaoshan urged the power of the 13 Heavenly Emperor seals on his forehead. Under the power of the 13 Heavenly Emperor seals, the imperial power of the 3 great emperors was weakened a lot. If Yang Xiaoshan had not integrated the 13 Heavenly Emperor seals, let alone completing the 9th floor trial, he would not even be able to open the 9th floor trial. Yang Xiaoshan came to the 3 Heavenly Emperor statues step by step. When he opened the trial of the 3 Heavenly Emperor statues, he came to a strange space. There was nothing in this space. It was empty. Just when Yang Xiaoshan was puzzled, suddenly, the space in front of him flashed, and 3 figures appeared in front of Yang Xiaoshan. Looking at these 3 figures, Yang Xiaoshan's face changed. Because these 3 figures were the 3 Heavenly Emperors just now. To be precise, it was the 3 divine thoughts left by the 3 Heavenly Emperors. Although the 3 divine thoughts were not strong, each of them was at the 5th level of the divine spirit. Every Heavenly Emperor in the Heavenly Palace was unique in talent and extremely powerful. When the 3 Heavenly Emperors at the 5th level joined forces, one could imagine how terrifying their power would be. Young man, you are the only one who has been able to break through the 9th level since the establishment of the Heavenly Emperor Palace. The Heavenly Emperor in the middle said, you are so talented that you are unique in the ages. But we will not hold back, so you have to be careful. As soon as the words fell, the 3 of them attacked instantly, and the sword energy was so fast that Yang Xiaoshan had almost no time to think. Yang Xiaoshan held the Kangshan sword and the Tangshan sword in his hands, and blocked them almost reflexively, barely blocking the 3 Heavenly Emperor's long swords. The 3 Heavenly Emperor's long swords were only an inch away from his chest. Yang Xiaoshan was shocked, and broke into a cold sweat. If he had reacted a little slower just now, he would have been pierced by 3 swords at this moment. The 3 of them said they would not hold back, and they really did not hold back. The 3 Heavenly Emperors turned their hands, and the long swords hit Yang Xiaoshan again at an incredible angle. Yang Xiaoshan tensed his whole body, and swung his 2 swords repeatedly. Only then did he block the 3 people's long swords. In this way, several people came and went, and in the blink of an eye, hundreds of moves were already made. The sword skills of the 3 Heavenly Emperors were natural, continuous, and the offensive was continuous, and the sword moves became more and more mysterious, and the power became stronger and stronger. Yang Xiaoshan raised his 12 points of vigor, but was still forced to retreat again and again by the 3 people. After holding on for a while, Yang Xiaoshan frowned. If this continued, let alone passing the 9th floor, it would be difficult to survive. At this moment, he fully activated the power of the 2 great divine bodies, the 15 mixed primordial destiny, the Hangmeng holy fruit, and the 2,000,000-year soul rings, and entered the state of selflessness. After entering the state of selflessness, all the changes in the surrounding heaven and earth were clearly reflected in Yang Xiaoshan's mind. The changes in the sword skills of the 3 Heavenly Emperors were also clearly reflected in Yang Xiaoshan's mind. Yang Xiaoshan swung his 2 swords. At first, Yang Xiaoshan countered the moves, but gradually Yang Xiaoshan began to counterattack. Each sword could force one person back. In the end, Yang Xiaoshan's 2 swords became faster and faster, and each sword was natural and perfect. Unknowingly, Yang Xiaoshan had forced the 3 people to the exit of the 9th floor. Finally, Yang Xiaoshan used the sword to shatter the stars and the sword to kill all directions, and finally forced the three people to retreat. Seeing the three people retreat, Yang Xiaoshan did not fight with them again, and flew out of the exit. Coming out of the 9th floor exit, Yang Xiaoshan felt relaxed all over, and felt like he had survived a disaster. Then, the auras of the three heavenly emperors rushed into his body crazily. His strength continued to rise, and finally stopped at the peak of the late 7th level of the Holy Realm. 3 heavenly emperor marks began to condense, and merged into his brow. At this moment, he finally got 16 heavenly emperor marks. Only the last one was left to collect all 17 heavenly emperor marks. Looking at the door of the last floor hall, Yang Xiaoshan paused for a while, and then stepped forward, to push open the door of the last floor hall. In the last 10th floor hall, there is only one statue of the Emperor of Heaven. The Emperor of Heaven. The first Emperor of Heaven, and the strongest of the 17 Emperors of Heaven. Yang Xiaoshan came to the statue of the Emperor of Heaven, circulated his holy power, and started the last level of trial. After the light surged, the scene in front of him changed, and Yang Xiaoshan came to a vast world. In front of him, there was nothing else, except the endless sword peaks. These sword peaks were condensed from various swords. Yang Xiaoshan flew for a while, but still couldn't see the exit. No exit? Yang Xiaoshan stared at these sword peaks in confusion. These sword peaks didn't seem to matter at first, but as he comprehended them more deeply, these sword peaks began to change, and in his eyes they became one sword formation after another. These sword formations are ever changing, and evolving all the time. Time keeps passing. Yang Xiaoshan tried hard to comprehend, but he still couldn't comprehend the mystery of these sword formations. An hour was about to pass. Chapter 633, Golden Divine Syrup. Seeing that he could not understand the secrets of these sword formations, Yang Xiaoshan calmed down, put aside his distracting thoughts, closed his eyes, and tried to feel the flow of the sword energy of these sword formations. Sure enough, after he tried to feel it carefully, he discovered the mystery of the flow of the sword energy of these sword formations. The evolution of these sword formations seemed to have no rules, but the flow of their sword energy formed a huge Bagworth formation diagram. Yang Xiaoshan's mind was immersed in the Bagworth formation diagram condensed by the sword energy, and his whole mind gradually merged with the entire Bagworth sword formation. When Yang Xiaoshan's mind was completely integrated with the Bagworth sword formation, all the sword mountains in the entire prehistoric world ejected heavy monstrous sword energy. The monstrous sword energy blasted a huge hole in the void. The amazing devouring power enveloped Yang Xiaoshan, and swallowed Yang Xiaoshan into the huge hole. When Yang Xiaoshan opened his eyes, he found that he had arrived at the top of the Xiandi Palace. When he stood at the top of the Xiandi Palace, the void was full of light, and the monstrous Xiandi Ki poured into his head like a waterfall, constantly merging into his body. This is the Heavenly Emperor Ki of the Great Desolate Heavenly Emperor. When Yang Xiaoshan completely merged with the Heavenly Emperor Ki of the Great Desolate Heavenly Emperor, his whole body was shaking with light, and he finally broke through the 8th level of the Holy Realm. At the moment of breaking through the 8th level of the Holy Realm, the light of his sea of mind surged endlessly, and the holy light soared into the sky. At this moment, above the sea of mind, the 8th Hangmeng Holy Fruit condensed. As the 8th Hangmeng Holy Fruit condensed, the 17th Heavenly Emperor mark merged into his forehead. The 17 Heavenly Emperor marks finally gathered. When the 17 Heavenly Emperor marks gathered, the Heavenly Emperor mark on his forehead burst out with terrifying imperial power. At the moment of the imperial power burst out, the souls of hundreds of millions of creatures in the Heavenly Emperor city trembled. Xiangxin Island Xianjinheng, Chen Kaiming and others changed their faces. Jian Xianjin, Zio Xianjin and others felt this terrifying imperial power that penetrated through many spaces, and they all had great joy on their faces. When the 17 Heavenly Emperor marks gathered together, the imperial power burst out, and behind Yang Xiaoshan, 17 majestic figures of Heavenly Emperors floated. The majestic figures of the 17 Heavenly Emperors shone with divine light in the sky. 17 people enveloped Yang Xiaoshan with divine light. In Yang Xiaoshan's mind, there were 17 more Heavenly Emperors' unique skills. These 17 unique skills were the strongest skills of each of the 17 Heavenly Emperors. There were sword skills, fist skills, palm skills, and spear skills. Each of them had the power to suppress the heavens. The tens of thousands of heavenly ancient corpse demons who had originally attacked the forbidden light shield of the heavenly emperor's secret realm felt the terrifying power and supreme divine power of Yang Zai Ocean, and their faces also changed. At this time, Yang Zai Ocean also saw the tens of thousands of heavenly ancient corpse demons who were attacking the forbidden light shield of the heavenly emperor's secret realm. Heavenly ancient corpse demon. Yang Zai Ocean's eyes turned cold, and the Kangshan sword and Tangshan divine sword appeared in his hands. The 8 great Hangmeng holy fruits were activated. The 2 swords were swung out. Swords roared in the sky. Swords shattered the galaxy. Thousands of sword ki and Hangmeng holy power roared and flew out, passing through the forbidden light shield. Although the strength of these ancient corpse demon masters is not weak, most of them are only the 7th and 8th levels of the divine spirit. How can they resist the sword energy of Yang Zai Ocean's double swords now? Suddenly, screams rang out, and Shiangxin Island was covered with blood. The ancient corpse demon masters fell to the ground like raindrops. With a double sword attack, hundreds of ancient corpse demon masters were killed. The face of the ancient corpse demon leader changed. Yang Zai Ocean's strength was far beyond his expectations. Before entering the Xiandi Palace, he was only the 5th level of the Holy Realm, and now he is out of the Xiandi Palace. It is actually the 8th level of the Holy Realm, and with the 8th level of the Holy Realm, he can actually kill the 7th and 8th levels of the Divine Spirit. At this moment, Yang Zai Ocean flew up again, and the light of the Xiandi mark burst out. The Emperor's might was like a huge wave of the end of the world, bombarding the ancient corpse demon masters. Just when the ancient corpse demon masters were suffocated by the pressure of the Emperor's might, Yang Zai Ocean swung his double swords again. Still tens of millions of sword energy burst out. The leader of the ancient corpse demon, Duan Yi, cast out the divine shield, but was still half a step too slow. The masters of the ancient corpse demon were knocked away again. Duan Yi's face was ugly. With the forbidden light shield of the secret realm of the Emperor of Heaven, Yang Zai Ocean could attack people outside at will, but when they attacked from outside, they were blocked by the forbidden light shield of the secret realm of the Emperor of Heaven, and could not attack Yang Zai Ocean at all. Therefore, as long as the forbidden light shield of the secret realm of the Emperor of Heaven was not broken, they would only be killed outside. The rise and fall of the Sword Master. The sorrow of the Kang God. Yang Zai Ocean's eyes were cold, and his 2 swords were constantly swinging. Duan Yi's sword energy surged all over his body, turning into a huge sword shield, trying to block Yang Zai Ocean's millions of sword energies. At this moment, in the distant void, light surged, and teams of heavenly troops were teleported into Shiangxin Island from the space channel. The face of the leader of the ancient corpse demon, Duan Yi, sank. He did not expect that the heavenly army would rush over from the Emperor of Heaven City so quickly. Could it be that something had changed in the Emperor of Heaven City? Lord Duan Yi, let's retreat first. An old ancestor of the ancient corpse demon said anxiously when he saw the army of heaven coming. The leader of the ancient corpse demon, Duan Yi, frowned. With the army of heaven coming, it seemed impossible to capture Yang Zai Ocean alive. And he didn't expect that Yang Zai Ocean's strength would increase so much. Retreat first. Duan Yi said in a deep voice, without hesitation, leading the masters of the ancient corpse demon clan to fly away. When leaving, he looked at Yang Zai Ocean coldly. Yang Zai Ocean, you can't escape. We will meet again. After that, he disappeared into the sky with the masters of the ancient corpse demon clan. The army of heaven that arrived chased the masters of the ancient corpse demon clan. Yang Zai Ocean looked at the masters of the ancient corpse demon clan who escaped, and wondered in his heart, how could the masters of the ancient corpse demon clan enter Shiangxin Island? To enter Shiangxin Island, you must pass through Xiandi City. Is there something wrong with Xiandi City? Thinking of this, Yang Zai Ocean stepped up his time to look for the Azure Dragon Divine Fire. The secret realm of the Heavenly Emperor is very large. In addition to the Heavenly Emperor Palace, there are many other places. With the help of the 3 divine fires, Yang Zai Ocean finally found the Azure Dragon Divine Fire in a hidden valley one day later. In the valley ahead, a huge Azure Dragon was coiled. The Azure Dragon was condensed entirely by flames, and the divine flames filled the world. However, in the valley below the Azure Dragon Divine Fire, a large pool of golden magma attracted Yangtze Ocean's attention. Liquid golden divine magma. Flowing golden divine magma, an extremely rare divine treasure, is many times better than the spirit of the gods. Now, there are more than 20 days before the end of the 1-month trial in the Heavenly Emperor Palace. In these 20 days, if he enters the pool of flowing golden divine magma to practice, it will definitely improve his cultivation. However, to practice in the flowing golden divine magma, the Azure Dragon Divine Fire must be subdued first. Otherwise, with the Azure Dragon Divine Fire guarding, everything is empty talk. Looking at the Azure Dragon Divine Fire coiled in the valley in front of him, Yangtze Ocean activated the Eternal Divine Body and the Hunio and Destiny Divine Body, and flew into the valley. Seeing Yangtze Ocean enter the valley, the Azure Dragon Divine Fire roared loudly, and rushed towards Yangtze Ocean. Before the Azure Dragon Divine Fire's attack arrived, the terrifying divine flames flooded towards Yangtze Ocean. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 634, Tragedy in Shiandi City. Although the Azure Dragon Divine Fire was only the 9th ranked Divine Fire, its flame was so strong that even the powerful gods could not bear it. Even if Yangtze Ocean had an eternal divine body, the Hunio and Heavenly Fate Divine Body could not withstand the divine flame of the Azure Dragon Divine Fire. However, just when the Azure Dragon Divine Fire was about to burn Yangtze Ocean, suddenly, Yangtze Ocean's divine flames were surging all over his body, and the Zui Divine Fire flew out instantly. The 7th ranked Zui Divine Fire and the Azure Dragon Divine Fire collided. There was a bang. The divine flames splashed. The divine flames rolled all over the sky, and everything around was burned into nothingness. Then, the 1000 Buddha Divine Fire and the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire flew out. The 3 divine fires were boundless. Under the power of the 3 divine fires, the Azure Dragon Divine Fire was completely suppressed. The Azure Dragon Divine Fire was suppressed by the 3 divine fires, and the dragon roared to the sky. At this time, Yangtze Ocean used all his strength to activate the 14th Dragon Art, and thousands of holy dragons flew out and entangled the Azure Dragon Divine Fire with all their strength. However, even with the suppression of the 3 great divine fires, even though Yangtze Ocean had already condensed the 8 great Hangmeng sacred fruits, the millions of holy dragons still found it difficult to restrain the Azure Dragon Divine Fire. The Azure Dragon Divine Fire kept colliding. Just like when it had subdued the Thunder Tribulation Divine Fire, the Azure Dragon Divine Fire was extremely violent and bombarded the millions of holy dragons. Yangtze Ocean was shocked, and his blood was boiling. Seeing that the Azure Dragon Divine Fire was about to blast away the millions of holy dragons and escape, Yangtze Ocean activated the power of the 17 Heavenly Emperors marks on his forehead. The might of the 17 Heavenly Emperors was like 17 ancient sacred mountains bombarding the Azure Dragon Divine Fire. Then, Yangtze Ocean activated the power of the Lord of the Abyss and the Deep Sea Demon Kun. The boundless power of the Lord of the Abyss and the Deep Sea Demon Kun also continued to suppress the Azure Dragon Divine Fire. Now, Yangtze Ocean has condensed the 8 great Hangmeng sacred fruits. Under the power of the 8 great Hangmeng sacred fruits, the Lord of the Abyss and the Deep Sea Demon Kun have boundless power, as powerful as a prison. Even so, the Azure Dragon Divine Fire is still struggling and still shaking. Yangtze Ocean kept running the dragon art, and thousands of holy dragons tightly entangled the Azure Dragon Fire. One day passed. The Azure Dragon Fire was still shaking, and still trying to break free. 4 days passed. It was still the same. At the beginning, when Yangtze Ocean subdued the 1000 Buddha's fire, the 1000 Buddha's fire was tired after 3 days. But now, 4 days have passed. The Azure Dragon Fire is still breaking free and shaking. Yangtze Ocean was running the dragon art all the time, and with the help of the power of the 17 Heavenly Emperors, the 2 million-year soul beasts, and the 3 great divine fires, he continued to suppress the Azure Dragon Fire. Even though Yangtze Ocean's holy power was extremely strong, he was exhausted after 4 days. During this period, he had swallowed several mouthfuls of the 6th heavenly tribulation thunder water. 5 days passed. Finally, the azure dragon fire's power to break free and shake began to weaken. Yang Xiaoshan quickly ran the dragon art and cast a series of fire runes to merge into the azure dragon fire. At the beginning, the fire runes were constantly shaken away by the azure dragon fire, but as time passed, finally, the rune of fire began to merge into the huge dragon body of the azure dragon fire. As the rune of fire continued to merge into the azure dragon fire, the azure dragon fire gradually calmed down. On the 6th day, the azure dragon fire finally calmed down completely. Yang Xiaoshan did not dare to be careless and continued to inject the rune of fire into the azure dragon fire. Finally, he felt that he was connected to the azure dragon fire. Yang Xiaoshan stopped. At the moment of success, Yang Xiaoshan was almost exhausted and lay on the ground, gasping for breath. Without the help of Master Ding, he finally succeeded in subduing the azure dragon fire. However, it was fortunate that the 3 divine fires of Ziwei, Qianfo, and Li Ji resisted the azure dragon fire. Otherwise, he would have been burned to ashes. Yang Xiaoshan swallowed a mouthful of the 6-fold heavenly tribulation thunder water, recovered for a while, and then stood up. The azure dragon fire was wrapped around his body. The 1,000 Buddhas turned into 1,000 golden flame Buddhas and condensed behind him. The purple myrtle divine fire and the thunder tribulation divine fire evolved into a starry sky of divine thunder and flames in the sky. Yang Xiaoshan stood in the world of the 4 divine fires, like the Lord of Fire. After getting familiar with the power of the azure dragon divine fire, Yang Xiaoshan took the 4 divine fires back into his body and walked towards the flowing golden divine pulp. Now that the azure dragon divine fire has been subdued, the next step is to devour the flowing golden divine pulp to practice. Yang Xiaoshan came to the sky above the flowing golden divine pulp. The temperature of the flowing golden divine pulp is extremely high, and ordinary gods cannot resist it. However, for Yang Xiaoshan, who has the eternal divine body and the Hunio and destiny divine body, this temperature is nothing. After coming to the sky above the flowing golden divine pulp, Yang Xiaoshan tried to do 2 things at the same time, and operated the dragon art and the destiny divine art at the same time. Now, there are only more than 20 days left. If he uses any one of the exercises, he cannot completely refine the flowing golden divine pulp here, but if he uses 2 exercises at the same time, he can refine the flowing golden divine pulp here. At first, Yang Xiaoshan couldn't run 2 techniques at the same time, but after many attempts, he finally ran the dragon art and the destiny art at the same time. As the 2 magic arts ran slowly, a stream of golden gas floated out of the golden divine slurry, which continued to merge into Yang Xiaoshan's body and transformed into Yang Xiaoshan's holy power. 1 day passed. The speed of the dragon art and the destiny art increased by twice. The golden gas continued to float out of the golden divine slurry. A few days later, the dragon art and the destiny art ran faster and faster, and the golden gas continued to pour into Yang Xiaoshan's body. From a distance, a huge vortex formed around Yang Xiaoshan's body, and countless golden gases evaporated from the ground and poured into the vortex. As time passed, Yang Xiaoshan's strength steadily improved. He was originally in the early 8th level of the Holy Realm, but he finally broke through to the middle 8th level of the Holy Realm, and he was still gradually improving. The originally large pool of golden divine slurry in the valley began to decrease, like a golden river exposed to the sun, becoming smaller and smaller as it evaporated. Finally, the golden divine slurry was completely refined. Yang Xiaoshan opened his eyes. At this time, the 1-month trial of the Emperor's palace was over. Yang Xiaoshan, Shan Junheng and others were all sent out of the Emperor's secret realm and returned to the Emperor's city square. However, when Yang Xiaoshan, Shan Junheng and others returned to the Emperor's city square, they were all shocked when they saw everything in the Emperor's city square and the Emperor's city. Although the army of the Heavenly Court and the powerful men from the major forces of the Zhongshan continent finally repelled the ancient Corpse Demon Clan and the Hell Demon Clan, the Emperor's city was still destroyed beyond recognition under the destructive power of hundreds of millions of powerful men. Fortunately, the Emperor's city was blessed by the power of the previous generations of the Emperor of the Primordial Heaven, otherwise it would have been destroyed long ago. Young Master Peng Long and Zi Wuxin, who were still guarding the square, saw Yang Xiaoshan coming out and greeted him. "What's going on?" Yang Xiaoshan asked Peng Long. Peng Long told him about the ancient corpse demon clan and the hell demon clan attacking the emperor's city. Yang Xiaoshan was shocked. Hundreds of heavenly gods died in this battle. Peng Long said in a heavy heart, all 10 heavenly lords were injured, and 5 of them were seriously injured. Yang Xiaoshan's heart sank. Even hundreds of heavenly gods died, which shows how tragic the battle was. Now it's not only the heavenly emperor city that is in chaos, but the entire Zhongshan continent and the Million Empire are in chaos. Zhi Wuxin said in a deep voice. "Where are Senior Ghost King and Senior Shaking the Sky?" Yang Xiaoshan asked, when he saw that the Yellow Spring Ghost King and the Sword God Shaking the Sky were not there. Peng Long and Zhi Wuxin hesitated. Chapter 635. Too many things happened. Seeing Peng Long, Zhi Wuxin mumbled. Yang Xiaoshan had a bad feeling. "What's going on?" Yang Xiaoshan asked in a deep voice. Senior Ghost King and Senior Hanshan were imprisoned in the heavenly prison. Peng Long did not dare to hide anything and told the truth. "What? Imprisoned in the heavenly prison?" Yang Xiaoshan's face changed. "Why? I heard that Huangquan Patriarch is the son of god of the ancient corpse demon clan." Zhi Wuxin hesitated for a moment and said with a stiff upper lip. Yang Xiaoshan's mind was buzzing. Huangquan Patriarch turned out to be the son of god of the ancient corpse demon clan. At this time, he finally understood why Xian Feng, the son of god of the heavenly family, wanted to eradicate the Huangquan demon clan, and why he wanted to capture Huangquan Patriarch back to the heavenly palace and imprison him in the heavenly prison. Perhaps, imprisoning Huangquan Patriarch in the heavenly prison was not the intention of the heavenly family at the beginning, but an order from the Taishi Xiandi. Peng Long added, "I heard that Huangquan Patriarch hid his identity back then. No one in Huangquan demon sect knew his real name. Senior Ghost King and Senior Hanshan didn't know that Huangquan Patriarch was the son of god of the ancient corpse demon clan." Yang Xiaoshan nodded. "Now, the identity of the young master as the descendant of Huangquan Patriarch has spread." Zhi Wuxin said in a low voice. Wan Xianjun said that he would imprison the young master in the heavenly prison. Wan Xianjun ranked second among the 10 great heavenly lords, second only to Jian Xianjun. He was from the heavenly family and was a member of the heavenly family. Hearing Wan Xianjun saying that he would imprison him in the heavenly prison, Yang Xiaoshan's face darkened. However, Xianjun Jian, Xianjun Zio and Xianjun Yan said that the young master only inherited the mantle of Patriarch Huangquan and has nothing to do with the ancient celestial corpse demon clan. Zhi Wuxin said, because the 3 Xianjuns, Xianjun Jian, Zio and Yan, came forward, Xianjun 1 gave up. But the people of the Xian family are now deliberately fanning the flames in the major empires, saying that the young master is the descendant of the son of god of the ancient celestial corpse demon clan. Now many emperors and ancestors of the empires are strongly opposed to the young master inheriting the mantle of his majesty Taishi. Zhi Wuxin's words made Yang Xiaoshan's heart sink completely. Not only the people of the Xian family, but also the people of the Zhao family and the people of the Temple of Destiny are also fanning the flames in the major empires. Peng Long said angrily, they are not only against the young master inheriting the mantle of his majesty Taishi, but also making enemies for him everywhere. Because the Xiangu corpse demon clan attacked Xiandi city this time, many empire ancestors died at the hands of the Xiangu corpse demon. Everyone learned that Yang Xiaoshan was the descendant of the Xiangu corpse demon godson, and the people of the Xian family, Zhao family, and the Temple of Destiny were talking bad about Yang Xiaoshan everywhere, which naturally caused many empires to have a very bad impression of Yang Xiaoshan. Where is his majesty Taishi? Yang Xiaoshan asked. Peng Long and Zhi Wuxin looked at each other. On the first day of the trial in the Heavenly Emperor Secret Realm, something happened on the Poison Mist Island. Peng Long said, the millions of Heavenly Court troops stationed on the Poison Mist Island suddenly lost contact. His Majesty Taishi and Lord Yuan Wei went to the Poison Mist Island. After that, they lost contact. Yang Xiaoshan was stunned. His Majesty Taishi and Lord Yuan Wei disappeared? Yes. Zhi Wuxin nodded. Later, Jian Xianjun led the army to the Poison Mist Island, but couldn't find His Majesty Taishi and Lord Yuan Wei. However, the Yuanshan jade tablets of His Majesty Taishi and Lord Yuanwei were not broken. After reaching the heavenly god realm, a trace of Yuanshan can be injected into the jade tablet. As long as the Yuanshan jade tablet is not broken, it means that the heavenly emperor Taishi and the first sword god Yuanwei have not died. But since the heavenly emperor Taishi and Yuanwei have not died, why didn't they appear? Could they be trapped somewhere? Yang Xiaoshan was full of thoughts. He didn't expect that so many things had happened in the heavenly emperor palace trial this month. My lord, where are we going now? Peng Long asked. Let's go back to the pharmacist's hall first, Yang Xiaoshan said after a brief thought. The date of the competition he agreed with storm medicine god Zhao Yun was approaching, and he returned to the pharmacist's hall to fulfill the competition agreement. Didn't the Zhao family fan the flames everywhere, say bad things about him, and make him hate him? This time, he would collect some interest first. However, just when Yang Xiaoshan was about to leave, the Heavenly Court army came to stop Yang Xiaoshan, saying that Jian Xianjun wanted to see him. Yang Xiaoshan followed the Heavenly Court army to meet Jian Xianjun, Zhao Xianjun, and Yan Xianjun. Half a day later, Yang Xiaoshan came out of the Heavenly Court, and then returned to the pharmacist's hall with Zi Wuxin and Peng Long. Jian Xianjun and the other two naturally reassured Yang Xiaoshan, and said some encouraging words to Yang Xiaoshan, asking Yang Xiaoshan to practice hard, and not be affected by the outside world. As for Yang Xiaoshan's inheritance of the mantle of Taishi Xiandi, he could only wait for Taishi Xiandi to come back before deciding. After all, the three of them could not make the decision on this matter. Yang Xiaoshan took the Abyss spaceship and rushed back to the medicine god's hall with Peng Long. Standing at the bow of the spaceship, Yang Xiaoshan thought a lot. The appearance of the ancient corpse demon clan, the Hell demon clan, and the 9 nether demon clan made him feel more pressured. After swallowing and refining the flowing golden divine slurry, his strength was once again raised to the 8th level of the Saint realm, but facing the strong men in the heavenly god realm, this strength was still not enough. Therefore, he had to improve his strength very quickly. After this competition with Zhao Yun, he opened the Dragon Palace again, and swallowed and refined the remaining Yuan Lang key in the Dragon Palace. However, although his strength has improved by leaps and bounds recently, the Eternal Divine Body and the Hunio and Destiny Divine Body have made slow progress, which really gave Yang Xiaoshan a headache. Master Ding said that, if he wanted to pass the Hangmeng Divine Tribulation, the Eternal Divine Body and the Hunio and Destiny Divine Body must be cultivated to perfection. However, his Eternal Divine Body and the Hunio and Destiny Divine Body are only at the small success level now, not even the great success level. If the Eternal Divine Body and the Primordial Destiny Divine Body can only be perfected after being cultivated to the 10th level, then his Eternal Divine Body has only been cultivated to the 4th level, and the Primordial Destiny Divine Body is higher, but has only been cultivated to the 6th level. I have to hurry up to find the Sand of Time, Yang Xiaoshan said secretly. Without the Sand of Time, it is impossible for him to cultivate the Eternal Divine Body to the 10th level of perfection, before passing the Hangmeng Divine Tribulation. Originally, he planned to win the first place in the conferred god battle this time, and become the successor of the Taishi Xiandi, so that he could use the power of the Heavenly Court to help him find the Sand of Time. Now it is impossible to use the power of the Heavenly Court. In addition, he also needs to find 6 divine swords that have passed the divine tribulation, so that he can gather the 15 divine swords, and cultivate 15 kinds of the strongest sword intent. Only in this way, can he have a 40% chance of passing the Hangmeng divine tribulation. A few days later, Yang Xiaoshan and the other two came to the pharmacist's hall. When Yang Xiaoshan returned to the pharmacist's hall again, the pharmacists in the pharmacist's hall looked at Yang Xiaoshan with a different look. In the past, when Yang Xiaoshan appeared, all the pharmacists were excited, worshipped, and saluted respectfully. But now, many pharmacists were no longer excited, worshipped, or respectful. Only a few bowed to Yang Xiaoshan, and then stayed away. When the storm medicine god Zhao Yun learned that Yang Xiaoshan had returned, he sneered. Yang Xiaoshan dared to come back to the pharmacist hall. Well, I will deal with him personally during the medicine refining competition at the end of the month. By then, I will make him a slave to our Zhao family, and make his life worse than death. Chapter 636. Will he lose? The news that Yang Xiaoshan returned to the pharmacist hall spread quickly. In the inner hall, Kishan medicine god, Baofeng medicine god, Four Seasons medicine god, Jinfeng medicine god, and Wang Xiang medicine god sat together. Baofeng medicine god Zhao Yun said to everyone, Yang Xiaoshan is the descendant of the Xiangu corpse demon clan. I believe everyone has heard about this. Then he said, since he is the descendant of the Xiangu corpse demon clan, it is no longer appropriate to let him stay in the pharmacist hall. We should expel him from the pharmacist hall. And we should capture him and let him give an explanation to the powerful people who died in Xiandi city. Four Seasons medicine god came from the Xian family. Hearing this, he said, Brother Baofeng's meaning is what I mean. Knowing that he is the descendant of the Xiangu corpse demon clan, if he is allowed to continue to stay in the pharmacist hall, how will the people of the world view our pharmacist hall? We should capture him and give an explanation to the world. Jinfeng medicine god and Wang Xiang medicine god did not speak, nor did they say to expel him, nor did they say not to expel him. Medicine god Qishan glanced at medicine god Baofeng and medicine god Four Seasons, and said coldly, don't think I don't know what you are thinking. Yang Xiaoshan's talent in alchemy is unique in the world. You are now trying every means to expel Yang Xiaoshan from the pharmacist hall, but you are just afraid that he will be in charge of the pharmacist hall in the future. Medicine god Baofeng's face sank, and when he was about to speak, medicine god Qishan interrupted him and said, Yang Xiaoshan just got the skills of Master Huangquan, and he has nothing to do with the ancient Sky Corpse demon clan. Zhao Yun, haven't you ever practiced the skills of the demon clan? I remember you practiced the 10,000 Ghosts divine cannon, which is also the skills of the ancient Sky Corpse demon clan. Does that mean you are also aspire the ancient Sky Corpse demon clan? Medicine god Zhao Yun had a dull look on his face. My situation is different from Yang Xiaoshan's. Medicine god Qishan raised his hand to interrupt him. There is no difference. If Yang Xiaoshan was expelled because he practiced the skills left by Master Huangquan, then you would be expelled as well for practicing the 10,000 Ghosts divine cannon. Zhao Yun's face flushed. At this time, Qishan medicine god looked at Four Seasons medicine god again. Xianheng, I remember that you also practiced the 9 nether demon clans demon Si Wuji. If Yang Xiaoshan is expelled, shouldn't you be expelled as well? Four Seasons medicine god Xianheng's face flushed as well, and he still wanted to argue, but, no buts. Qishan medicine god said resolutely, I still say that, if Yang Xiaoshan is to be expelled, you too should also be expelled. Zhao Yun was angry. After a while, the 5 people left unhappily. Back to the palace, Zhao Yun's eyes were cold. As long as old man Qishan is not dead, I will never be able to take charge of the pharmacist hall. His disciple Zhao Dingai pondered and said, perhaps, we can use the hands of the Xiangu corpse demon clan to kill old man Qishan. What do you mean? Zhao Yun asked. Zhao Dingai came to Zhao Yun, lowered his voice, and whispered. After listening, Zhao Yun's eyes lit up. After Yang Xiaoshan returned to the pharmacist hall, he lived in the original palace. In the next half month, Kishan medicine god brought his disciple Ren Xiaoxu to Yang Xiaoshan's palace every day. Every time he came, he would pull Yang Xiaoshan to learn how to make medicine. He even demonstrated some of the ancient medicine making techniques he knew to Yang Xiaoshan on the spot. Yang Xiaoshan knew the good intentions of Kishan medicine god. He wanted to further improve his medicine making skills before he competed with Zhao Yun. Unknowingly, the day of Yang Xiaoshan and Zhao Yun's competition arrived. On this day, before dawn, the pharmacist hall was very lively. With the deliberate publicity of Zhao Yun and his apprentice, countless pharmacists flocked to the square of the pharmacist hall. When Yang Xiaoshan and his companions arrived, there were already crowds of people. Zhao Yun had already stood in the center of the square, watching Yang Xiaoshan arrive and smiled coldly. Shortly after Yang Xiaoshan arrived, Kishan medicine god, Four Seasons medicine god, 9 Phoenix medicine god, and Wang Xiang medicine god also came together. Zhao Yun saw the arrival of the 4 Kishan medicine gods, clasped his fists, and said with a smile, you all came at the right time. Please bear witness for me. Today, I will compete with Yang Xiaoshan. If I lose, my life and the sun-swallowing sword will belong to Yang Zai Ocean. At this point, his eyes turned cold and stared at Yang Zai Ocean. If Yang Zai Ocean loses, Yang Zai Ocean will have to make medicine for our Zhao family for the rest of his life, until he dies. Zhao Yun emphasized the word die. Kishin medicine god came to the center of the square and said to Yang Zai Ocean and Zhao Yun, today's competition. For the sake of fairness, you two use the same year of medicinal materials and the same grade of cauldrons, provided by the pharmacist general hall. Do you have any objections? He knew that Zhao Yun had an ancient divine cauldron that could improve the quality of elixirs. He was afraid that Yang Zai Ocean would suffer a loss, so Kishin medicine god made such a rule. Zhao Yun frowned, then smiled and said, okay, this is the fairest way. Okay. Yang Zai Ocean said. In fact, it doesn't matter what cauldron he uses. So, Kishin medicine god sent all the prepared divine level medicinal materials into cauldrons to Yang Zai Ocean and Zhao Yun respectively. However, just when they were about to start refining the medicine, Yang Zai Ocean said, wait. Everyone was stunned. Zhao Yun smiled and said, Yang Zai Ocean, what, do you want to regret it now? Yang Zai Ocean looked at Zhao Yun, what if you lose, and you regret it? After all, Zhao Yun is now in the heavenly god realm. If Zhao Yun regrets it, he can't do anything to Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun heard Yang Zai Ocean say that he would regret it if he lost, and he couldn't help laughing. Yang Zai Ocean, if I lose, everyone in the pharmacist hall can gang up on me and kill me. The hall master can also take action. At this point, Zhao Yun stared at Yang Zai Ocean. What else are you worried about? Yang Zai Ocean's face was calm, since Senior Bao Feng said so. Then I'm relieved. At this point, he walked towards the medicinal materials and cauldron. Zhao Yun was cold and also walked towards the medicinal materials and cauldron. Listening to Yang Zai Ocean's tone, it seems that he is sure that he will lose. Will he lose? Zhao Yun came to the medicinal materials in the cauldron, with divine flames surging all over his body, and 3 huge divine fires flew out at the same time. Cold Spirit Divine Fire, Green Lion Divine Fire, Ice Dragon Divine Fire. As Zhao Yun summoned the 3 divine fires, the amazing divine flames swept across the world. Everyone in the square was shocked and retreated. Zhao Yun rarely took action, so most of the pharmacists at the scene saw Zhao Yun's 3 divine fires for the first time and were shocked. Although Zhao Yun's 3 divine fires were cultivated after birth, the appearance of the 3 divine fires at the same time was still shocking. Just when Zhao Yun was about to control the 3 divine fires to refine medicine, suddenly, Yang Zai Ocean's whole body of divine flame soared into the sky, and the purple dragon divine fire flew out. Purple dragon divine fire. Then, the dragon roar shook the world. A huge green dragon formed entirely by divine flames flew out. Blue dragon divine fire. Seeing Yang Zai Ocean's purple dragon divine fire and blue dragon divine fire, Zhao Yun's face changed. It was no secret that Yang Zai Ocean had conquered the secret realm of the Heavenly Emperor and possessed the Zhui divine fire. However, he did not expect that in addition to the Zhui divine fire, Yang Zai Ocean had also subdued the Azure Dragon divine fire. Chapter 637 You are the loser. Seeing Yang Zai Ocean's Azure Dragon divine fire, Kishin medicine god was also shocked. Yang Zai Ocean actually subdued the Azure Dragon divine fire. Just as everyone was surprised, Yang Zai Ocean's body was covered with Buddha light like the sea, and golden flame Buddhas flew out. 1000 Buddha divine fire. Zhao Yun's face finally changed drastically. Yang Zai Ocean actually also controlled the 3 major divine fires. And they were the 3 innate divine fires. How could this be possible? How did he, a saint, subdue the 3 innate divine fires? Originally, Zhao Yun's 3 divine fires were soaring into the sky, and the light of the divine fire illuminated every corner of the pharmacist's hall. But at this moment, under the suppression of Yang Zai Ocean's 3 divine fires, Zhao Yun's 3 divine fires became dim, and his 3 divine fires were completely suppressed by Yang Zai Ocean's 3 divine fires. Whether it was the Zhui divine fire, the Azure Dragon divine fire, or the 1000 Buddha divine fire, they were all the 10 major divine fires, and their power and strength were far beyond the reach of Zhao Yun's Lengling divine fire, the Bishi divine fire, and the Ice Dragon divine fire. Just when everyone was shocked by Yang Ocean's 3 divine fires, suddenly, Yang Ocean's whole body was filled with thunder flames, and the Thunder Tribulation divine fire flew out. The Thunder Tribulation divine fire and the Purple Myrtle divine fire complemented each other in the sky. Thunder Tribulation divine fire. Whether it was the Four Seasons medicine god, the Nine Phoenix medicine god, or the all-seeing medicine god, they were all shocked. Many pharmacists in the pharmacist general hall were all shocked. Even the Kishan medicine god was stunned. The 4 innate divine fires, and 3 of them were the top 10 divine fires. Zhao Yun's face changed completely. The original confidence was completely gone. An unprecedented fear suddenly surged in his heart. Zhao Dingai, who was far away, was also unable to suppress his fear. If his master really lost this competition, wouldn't his master really want it? Thinking of the fate of his master Zhao Yun, Zhao Dingai's face was pale and bloodless. What really worried him was not the fate of his master Zhao Yun, but the fate of him and the Zhao family's pharmacists. Once his master's support was gone, he and the other pharmacists of the Zhao family would definitely have a hard time in the pharmacist general hall. Under the suppression of Yang Ocean's 4 divine fires, Zhao Yun's 3 divine fires, which had already completely dimmed, and Zhao Yun found that when he wanted to control the 3 divine fires, to melt those divine level medicinal materials, the 3 divine fires were extremely unstable. One of the medicinal materials was almost burnt to ashes. This made Zhao Yun even more panicked. If the 3 divine fires could not be stable, it would be difficult to refine the 3 tribulation heaven level god breaking pill, let alone the 2 tribulation heaven level god breaking pill. Under Yang Ocean's control, the 4 divine fires of Ziwi divine fire turned into a star rain all over the sky, melting hundreds of divine level medicinal materials at an extremely astonishing speed. In less than a cup of tea, hundreds of divine level medicinal materials were all melted. He did not use a cauldron, but condensed the fire of heaven and earth into a cauldron. Soon, the fire cauldron was filled with the fragrance of the elixir, and the divine light continued to spread like waves. As the fragrance of the elixir became stronger and stronger, thunder clouds condensed in the sky, and violent thunder fell. Looking at the thunderbolts, Yang Ocean slapped them with his palm and easily exploded them. With his current strength, he could easily explode even the 9-fold thunderbolt, let alone this kind of thunderbolt. When Yang Ocean exploded the triple thunderbolt, finally, a god-breaking pill filled with divine light flew out of the fire cauldron. The surface of this god-breaking pill was branded with triple thunderbolt patterns. Looking at this triple tribulation heaven grade god-breaking pill, all the pharmacists at the scene couldn't help swallowing. Everyone knows how rare and precious the triple tribulation heaven grade god-breaking pill is. The triple tribulation heaven grade god-breaking pill. Ren Xiaoxu looked at the god-breaking pill in front of her excitedly. Qishan Yao Shen also smiled. Seeing this triple tribulation heaven grade god-breaking pill, he knew that Yang Ocean had won the competition. The result of the competition was no longer suspenseful. Even if Zhao Yun tried his best, he could only refine the triple tribulation heaven grade god-breaking pill at most. However, with the same quality of elixir, Yang Ocean made the elixir faster, so Yang Ocean still won. At this moment, Zhao Yun had melted less than half of the hundreds of divine level medicinal materials, not to mention making the elixir. Zhao Yun looked at the 3 tribulation heaven grade divine elixir, his face pale, as if he was bombarded by the primordial divine thunder. The ending was already determined. Did he need to continue refining? At this moment, under the gaze of hundreds of thousands of pharmacists, Zhao Yun, the second medicine god of Zhongshan continent, felt that he had become a clown. You lost. Yang Ocean looked at Zhao Yun and said, you lost. Zhao Yun's face was completely pale. He stopped, scanned the hundreds of thousands of pharmacists on the scene, and suddenly laughed wildly, with extremely unwilling and miserable laughter. Zhao Yun suddenly had a magic sword in his hand, which was the sun-swallowing divine sword. He flashed and came to Yang Ocean in an instant. The sun-swallowing divine sword stabbed Yang Ocean's throat. Yang Ocean, I didn't lose. You lost. He had a hideous face. Zhao Yun, as one of the 5 10-star medicine gods of Zhongshan continent, has a profound cultivation, far beyond the reach of ordinary gods. When he saw that the sun-swallowing divine sword in his hand was about to pierce Yang Xiaoshen's throat, suddenly, a sword light broke through the air and blocked Zhao Yun's sun-swallowing divine sword. The person who made the move was none other than Qishan medicine god. As one of the 5 10-star medicine gods of Zhongshan continent, Qishan medicine god knew what kind of person Zhao Yun was, so when Zhao Yun stopped refining medicine, he was on guard against Zhao Yun's move. Qishan medicine god repelled Zhao Yun and looked at him coldly. Zhao Yun, you are the shame of our Zhongshan pharmacist hall. All medicine gods listen to my order. Kill Zhao Yun. Qishan medicine god raised his sword and killed Zhao Yun. Although Zhao Yun was strong, he was still not good enough to face Qishan medicine god, one of the 10 great powers of Zhongshan continent, and was soon forced to retreat by Qishan medicine god. Kill. Zhao Yun shouted. Yang Xiaoshen is a spy of the ancient corpse demon clan. All the pharmacists in the medicine god hall, listen to my order. Kill Yang Xiaoshen. Zhao Dingai reacted and shouted, Lord Zhao Yun is right. Yang Xiaoshen is a spy of the ancient corpse demon clan. It was because of him that the Xiandi city was attacked and countless powerful people from the major empires died. Yang Xiaoshen is the culprit. Kill Yang Xiaoshen and get rid of the harmful Zhongshan continent. However, before he finished speaking, a cold light flashed in front of his eyes and the Zhongshan divine sword in Yang Xiaoshen's hand pierced his throat. Zhao Dingai's eyes widened. Kill Yang Xiaoshen to get rid of the harmful Zhongshan continent. Many pharmacists in the pharmacist hall were masters of the Zhao family. They shouted and killed, and all of them killed Yang Xiaoshen. As the second medicine god of the pharmacist hall, Zhao Yun had been operating for many years and had collected many pharmacists under his command. Therefore, many pharmacists working under Zhao Yun also took action. Among these pharmacists, there are many powerful medicine gods. Looking at the tens of thousands of medicine gods rushing over, Yang Xiaoshen's eyes were cold, and the Zhongshan divine sword in his hand was pulled out from Zhao Dingai's throat. The Kangshen sword appeared, and he did not retreat but advanced, and the 2 swords killed the masters of the Zhao family. One sword yin and yang. Sword shatters the galaxy. The Zhongshan divine sword and the Kangshen sword in Yang Xiaoshen's hands burst into sword light. The 4 seasons medicine god Xianheng looked coldly at Yang Xiaoshen, who was surrounded and killed by a group of Zhao family pharmacists. His eyes flickered, and he considered whether to kill Yang Xiaoshen. At this moment, Qishan medicine god had to deal with Zhao Yun and could not spare his hands. If he took action, Yang Xiaoshen would die. Chapter 638. The Zhao family is not that simple. In this conferred god battle, Yang Xiaoshen won the first place and Xianheng won the second place. If Yang Xiaoshen died, then Xianheng would have the chance to become the successor of the Taishi Xiandi. Yang Xiaoshen was the biggest stumbling block for Xianheng to ascend to the throne. Therefore, the 4 seasons medicine god Xianheng looked at Yang Xiaoshen, who was surrounded and killed at this moment, and his eyes were full of murderous intent. Kill. At this time, Ren Xiaoxu also led a group of pharmacists to rush up. Qishan medicine god is the first medicine god in Zhongshan continent and the master of the pharmacist general hall. His prestige and influence naturally far exceeds Zhao Yun. Suddenly, hundreds of thousands of pharmacists rushed up. Xianheng, who had originally intended to kill Yang Xiaoshen, looked at the hundreds of thousands of pharmacists protecting Yang Xiaoshen and sobered up. With Qishan medicine god and a group of powerful pharmacists under Qishan medicine god, it is obviously unrealistic to kill Yang Xiaoshen in the pharmacist general hall. To kill Yang Xiaoshen, you can only look for an opportunity later. At this moment, Peng Long and Zi Wuxin also rushed into the Zhao family's pharmacists and stood guard beside Yang Xiaoshen. Yang Xiaoshen's eternal divine body and the mixed destiny divine body were in operation, and the 8 great primordial holy fruits behind him condensed. The primordial holy power was vast and boundless, and every sword would bring a bloody light. Although Yang Xiaoshen is only in the 8th late stage of the holy realm, even ordinary gods in the 10th early stage can hardly resist the power of his 2 swords. Yang Xiaoshen's eyes were cold, and he swung his 2 swords. Millions of sword lights continued to drown the masters of the Zhao family. Old man Qishan, you know that Yang Xiaoshen is a spy of the ancient corpse demon clan, but you still protect Yang Xiaoshen. You are not worthy of being the master of the pharmacist hall. Zhao Yun roared and swung the sun-swallowing divine sword in his hand. The sword wave was like a terrifying magma, and everything was burned. The sun-swallowing divine sword was made of the ancient sun-swallowing divine cult using the sun god iron. The sun god iron is one of the most terrifying fire attributed irons in the world. It contains the terrifying sun god fire. Under the urging of Zhao Yun's divine power, the sun god fire in the sword rolled and blasted towards Qishan medicine god. Qishan medicine god snorted coldly, swung the magic sword in his hand, and brought up an amazing sea of swords to block Zhao Yun's sword energy. Zhao Yun, you are still stubborn. When you are about to die, you have already lost the competition. Your life belongs to Yang Ocean. If this battle is spread, you and all the pharmacists of the Zhao family will become the shame of the Zongshan pharmacist world. Zhao Yun said angrily, bullshit. Who said I lost? I didn't lose. Does Yang Ocean dare to compete with me in refining the heavenly god pill? Jinfeng medicine god and Wang Xiang medicine god shook their heads after hearing Zhao Yun's shameless words. Zhao Yun is a 10-star medicine god. It is shameful for him to compete with Yang Ocean, who is in the same holy realm, to refine the god-breaking pill. Now that he has lost the competition, he not only refuses to admit it, but also wants to compete with Yang Ocean to refine the heavenly god pill. This is simply shameless. The 9 Phoenix medicine god looked at the Zhao family pharmacists who were still resisting, and after a moment of hesitation, they also took action to kill the Zhao family. Seeing this, the Wang Xiang medicine god also led his pharmacists to kill the Zhao family. Zhao Yun, who was forced to retreat step by step by the Qishan medicine god, saw that the 9 Phoenix medicine god and the Wang Xiang medicine god also took action to kill the Zhao family, and his face sank. He glanced at Yang Ocean in the crowd. His eyes were cold, and he swung his sword with all his strength, forcing the Qishan medicine god to retreat, and then he was about to fly away. Yang Ocean, I will come back to take your life in the future. Seeing that Zhao Yun was about to escape, the magic sword in the Qishan medicine god's hand flew out and turned into a sword dragon. Just as the sword dragon was about to hit Zhao Yun, suddenly, a huge hand stretched out from the void. This huge hand was emitting boundless golden flames, and it blocked the sword dragon of Qishan Yaoshen. Qishan Yaoshen's sword dragon hit the golden flame palm, and the light burst out. The boundless golden flame of the golden flame palm was blasted. But after the golden flame palm blocked the sword dragon of Qishan Yaoshen, it disappeared. Zhao Yun, in the blink of an eye, had escaped from the main hall of the pharmacist. Qishan Yaoshen chased him. However, just as Qishan Yaoshen chased out of the main hall of the pharmacist, the golden flame giant palm appeared again and slapped Qishan Yaoshen. The boundless golden flame was like a 9-day waterfall, bombarding Qishan Yaoshen. Qishan Yaoshen had to give up Zhao Yun, and drew his sword to block the golden flame giant palm. When he blocked the golden flame giant palm, he saw that Zhao Yun had already escaped. Qishan Yaoshen chased him closely. Half a day later, when Qishan Yaoshen returned, all the Zhao family masters in the pharmacist hall had been completely suppressed. Those who were captured, and those who were killed. Looking at the mess in the pharmacist hall and the corpses on the ground, Qishan Yaoshen looked grim. Although the Zhao family masters were suppressed, many 7-star and 8-star pharmacists died in the pharmacist hall after this battle. Even 9-star medicine gods died. Senior Qishan, how are you? Yang Ocean saw Qishan Yaoshen coming back and asked. I'm fine. Qishan Yaoshen said, and then apologized. Zhao Yun, let him escape. Yang Ocean shook his head and said, it's okay, I will go to the Zhao family in person later. In fact, he had expected this result. Zhao Yun is one of the 5 10-star medicine gods in Zongshan continent. He is very powerful. It is not so easy to kill him. In the future, he will go to the Zhao family in person to take Zhao Yun's head. The Zhao family is probably not that simple. Qishan Yaoshen thought of the golden flame giant palm that appeared earlier and said, if you are not absolutely sure in the future, don't go to the Zhao family rashly. Then he told Yang Ocean about the golden flame giant palm. This person's strength is not inferior to mine. Qishan Yaoshen said in a deep voice. Yang Zai Ocean was surprised. Kishan Yeo Shen was one of the top 10 strong men in Zongshan continent. It was impossible for the Zhao family to have such a strong man. Senior, can you see the other party's origin? Yang Zai Ocean asked. Kishan Yeo Shen shook his head. This person used the golden flame palm of the ancient golden flame sect, but he used it deliberately. He has been hiding his true identity. Has been hiding his true identity? Yang Zai Ocean pondered. However, since the other party rescued Zhao Yun, he must have a deep relationship with the Zhao family. Senior, do you know where to find the Sand of Time? Yang Zai Ocean asked Kishan Yeo Shen. Now, he is in urgent need of the Sand of Time. Sand of Time. Kishan Yeo Shen was stunned, and then said, if you want to find the Sand of Time, you can go to the Forest of Destiny. The Forest of Destiny and the Temple of Destiny? Yang Zai Ocean was stunned. Yes, there is the Sand of Time and the Forest of Destiny. Kishan Yeo Shen pondered and said, but the Sand of Time and the Forest of Destiny is very difficult to obtain. The Temple of Destiny is hidden in the Forest of Destiny, and there are many restrictions around the Forest of Destiny. It's difficult to enter the Forest of Destiny. Then he talked about some dangers in the Forest of Destiny. Yang Zai Ocean wrote it down. Although the Forest of Destiny is dangerous, since there is the Sand of Time and the Forest of Destiny, he must go there anyway. After he refines the Yuan Lang key of the Dragon Temple, he will go to the Forest of Destiny. Chapter 639, Inheritance of the Lord of Heaven and Earth. Senior, do you know where else there is the Sand of Time? Yang Zai Ocean asked. Kishan Medicine God thought for a moment and said, the Heavenly Court has been searching for the Sand of Time. There should be a lot of Sand of Time in the Heavenly Court's treasury. Then he said, there is also the Sand of Time in the Zumi Divine Mountain in Jinsao. Zumi Divine Mountain. Yang Zai Ocean was surprised. The Zumi Divine Mountain in Jinsao is extremely famous in Zongshan continent. Legend has it that the Lord of Heaven and Earth was born in Zumi Divine Mountain and left a legacy in Zumi Divine Mountain. Some people even say that the Zumi Divine Sword of the Lord of Heaven and Earth is still in Zumi Divine Mountain. Yes, Zumi Divine Mountain. Kishan Medicine God nodded and said, however, the Sand of Time is in the deepest part of Zumi Divine Mountain. Zumi Divine Mountain is full of restrictions. It is difficult to enter the deepest part of Zumi Divine Mountain. But Brother Yang has an eternal divine body. If you enter Zumi Divine Mountain, you may have a great opportunity. Legend has it that the Lord of Heaven and Earth left a legacy in Zumi Divine Mountain to wait for the next eternal divine body to come. Of course, it is unknown whether the legend is true or not. Yang Zai Ocean nodded and clasped his fists, saying, thank you for telling me, Senior. Kishan Medicine God shook his hand and said with a smile, why should we be polite? Then he told Yang Zai Ocean to be extremely careful when traveling in the future. Now the Zhao family must hate Yang Zai Ocean to the core, and Yang Zai Ocean won the first place in this conferred god battle. The people who want to kill Yang Zai Ocean are not just the Zhao family. It was late at night and the people were quiet. Yang Zai Ocean used space concealment to leave the pharmacist hall, flew all the way, came to the dragon hall, and opened the door of the dragon hall again. The dragon hall was almost the same as when he left last time. The only change was that he devoured and refined hundreds of Yuan Lang spirits last time. Arriving at the center of the dragon hall, Yang Zai Ocean sat down cross-legged and at the same time activated the Destiny Divine Art and the Ancient Dragon Art and began to devour the Yuan Lang key in the hall. Suddenly, the Yuan Lang key in the hall roared and rushed into his body crazily. As the Yuan Lang key continued to pour in, Yang Zai Ocean's strength began to gradually increase. He was originally in the 8th level of the Holy Realm, but it didn't take long for him to break through to the peak of the 8th level of the Holy Realm. 3 months later, Yang Zai Ocean's whole body was shining. He finally broke through to the 9th level of the Holy Realm as expected. When he broke through the 9th level of the Holy Realm, the holy power of the Sea of God in the world surged, and the 9th Hangmeng Holy Fruit condensed. 9 Hangmeng Holy Fruits were suspended in Yang Zai Ocean's Sea of God in the world, and the Hangmeng Holy Power was surging. 5 months later, Yang Zai Ocean finally swallowed and refined all the Yuan Lang key in the hall, and Yang Zai Ocean's strength broke through to the peak of the 9th level of the Holy Realm. Yang Zai Ocean stopped practicing feeling the surging Hangmeng holy power in his body, and he couldn't suppress his joy. This time he broke through the 9th level of the Holy Realm and condensed the 9th Hangmeng Holy Fruit. His strength was undoubtedly greatly improved. Afterwards, Yang Xiaoshan went out of the Dragon Hall through the space channel and then drove the Abyss spaceship to the Forest of Destiny at a high speed. On the spaceship, Yang Xiaoshan tried to practice the Destiny Divine Art, the Ancient Dragon Art, and the Yellow Spring Divine Art at the same time. However, the Huanquan Divine Art conflicted with the Destiny Divine Art and could not succeed. After many attempts, Yang Xiaoshan had to give up. On the way, Yang Xiaoshan continued to swallow the Destiny Divine Fruit while practicing the Destiny Divine Art and the Ancient Dragon Art. Yang Xiaoshan sat cross-legged under the Destiny Divine Tree and the Life Divine Tree, and his whole body was surging with light. When he arrived at the Forest of Destiny, he barely broke through to the 9th level of the Holy Realm. Even so, Yang Xiaoshan still thought that his improvement was too slow. Without the Yuan Lan Qi and the flowing golden divine suspense, he would need at least 3 years to break through the realm of the gods if he continued to practice like this. 3 years, breaking through from the 9th level of the Holy Realm to the realm of the gods can be said to be an eternal miracle, but Yang Xiaoshan still thought it was too slow. After all, there are too many people who want to kill him now, and the powerful gods are everywhere. Only by breaking through the realm of the gods can he have the strength to protect himself. Even if he does not break through the realm of the gods, he must at least condense 15 Hangmeng holy fruits to have the strength to fight against the heavenly god realm. Yang Xiaoshan took back the Abyss spaceship and looked at the endless forest of destiny in front of him. At this time, it was late at night. The Forest of Destiny was shrouded in a faint silver glow, revealing a mysterious atmosphere. The Forest of Destiny in front of us gave people a sense of confusion. Yang Xiaoshan activated the 17 Heavenly Emperor seal between his eyebrows. Suddenly, the 17 Heavenly Emperor seal exuded an invisible force. When this invisible force submerged into the Forest of Destiny, all kinds of restrictions in the Forest of Destiny appeared in Yang Xiaoshan's eyes. The restrictions were integrated with the surrounding heaven and earth, and the naked eye and divine consciousness could not see them at all. But now, under the power of the 17 Heavenly Emperor seal, Yang Xiaoshan could see all the restrictions. This is a powerful effect of the 17 Heavenly Emperor seal. Yang Xiaoshan flashed into the Forest of Destiny. With the help of the power of the 17 Heavenly Emperor seal, Yang Xiaoshan avoided these restrictions one by one. Yang Xiaoshan shuttled through the Forest of Destiny like a ghost. An hour later, he came to the depths of the Forest of Destiny. In front of him was a large group of palaces, which were the palaces of the Temple of Destiny. Disciples patrolling the Temple of Destiny could be seen everywhere in the palace. Yang Xiaoshan carefully passed through the restriction, bypassed the Palace of Destiny, and flew to the back. According to Kishin Yaoshan, there is a large galaxy behind the Palace of Destiny, and the Sand of Time is in the galaxy space, but the Sand of Time is hidden deep in the galaxy, and is extremely difficult to find. Just as Yang Xiaoshan was about to bypass the Palace of Destiny, suddenly, the voice of Hejian, the master of the Palace of Destiny, came from the palace in front. What? The ancestors and emperors of the Zhuanggang Empire were killed by the Xianggu Corpse Demon Clan? Yang Xiaoshan stopped when he heard it. The Zhuanggang Empire is a very powerful empire in Zhongshan continent. Its ancestors and emperors were killed by the Xianggu Corpse Demon Clan. This is absolutely shocking news. Yes, not only the ancestors and emperors of the Zhuanggang Empire, but also the ancestors and emperors of the Linyuan Empire were killed. I heard that when the Xianggu Corpse Demon Clan attacked Xiandi City, the ancestors of the Zhuanggang Empire and the Linyuan Empire killed an ancestor of the Xianggu Corpse Demon, so the Xianggu Corpse Demon Clan retaliated afterwards. Not only the ancestors and emperors of the two empires were killed, but all the concubines, princes, and princesses of the two empires were killed, and their deaths were extremely tragic. Now the people of the major empires in Zhongshan continent are in panic, and they are all worried about the revenge of the Xianggu Corpse Demon Clan and the Nether Demon Clan. The hall was silent. By the way, Hall Master, I have heard about the Sword of Destiny. After a while, another voice came. The Sword of Destiny. Yang Xiaoshan was excited when he heard it. Speak. Hejian asked excitedly when he heard it. The Sword of Destiny is in the Honghuan Temple. The ancestor of the Temple of Destiny said. Honghuan Temple. Yang Xiaoshan was surprised. The Honghuan Temple is the cultivation cave of the Honghuan Xiandi. The Sword of Destiny is actually inside the Honghuan Temple. After hearing this, Yang Xiaoshan did not pause, bypassed the palace of the Temple of Destiny, and flew towards the galaxy space. Chapter 640, Eternal Divine Body Breakthrough. The Honghuan Temple has many restrictions from the Honghuan Emperor, so Yang Xiaoshan is not worried that the Sword of Destiny will fall into the hands of the people in the Destiny Temple. However, he has the Emperor's seal of the Honghuan Emperor, and will not be attacked by the restrictions of the Honghuan Emperor. At that time, he can enter the Honghuan Temple. Soon, Yang Xiaoshan came to the galaxy space. I saw the vast galaxy in front of me, and the stars were shining, reflecting down, beautiful, and very similar to the years of the Starry River. However, unlike the years of the Starry River, this galaxy space has no river, only the starry sky, and the entire vast starry sky is filled with the breath of time. Yang Xiaoshan flew into the galaxy space. The galaxy space is so vast that it seems to have no end. Yang Xiaoshan flew forward for an hour and still could not see the end. In addition to the starry sky and the light of the stars, there is nothing else in the galaxy space. Walking in this vast and boundless starry sky for a long time, it is easy to get lost, not only the direction, but also the future. Moreover, the light of the stars in the sky of the Milky Way is beautiful at first glance, but after looking at it for a long time, it makes people dizzy, and makes people feel drowsy. This feeling is very similar to the feeling when he broke into the second level of the Cold Dream Heavenly Emperor trial in the Heavenly Emperor Palace. At that time, he almost fell asleep and was frozen into an ice sculpture. If he fell asleep in this galaxy space, the blood and vitality of his body would be constantly eaten away by the invisible power of time here. Just when Yang Xiaoshan was drowsy, Yang Xiaoshan activated the 17 Heavenly Emperor seals on his forehead. The 17 Heavenly Emperor seals glowed. Suddenly, Yang Xiaoshan woke up and no longer felt drowsy. Yang Xiaoshan continued to fly forward. However, the deeper you fly into the starry sky, the easier it is to get lost and sleepy. But every time Yang Xiaoshan felt drowsy, he activated the 17 Heavenly Emperor seals. In this way, Yang Xiaoshan came all the way to the deepest part of the galaxy space. Here, even many gods find it difficult to reach. If Yang Xiaoshan did not have the 17 Heavenly Emperor seals, he would not be able to come here at all. After arriving here, I saw scattered sands of time swimming in the depths of the galaxy. These sands of time were not big. From a distance, they looked like palm-sized fish swimming in the distance. However, little by little, he did not let go of these scattered sands of time, and collected them all. Even if they were the size of a thumb, he would not let them go. Now, his eternal divine body urgently needed the sands of time. He was hungry for these sands of time, no matter how small they were, he wanted them. In this way, Yang Xiaoshan collected them all the way. Unknowingly, there was already a large ball. It was even bigger than the ball he got from the treasure house of the Starry Kingdom of Emperor Yunshan. However, it was still not enough. Now, his eternal divine body is the 4th level, and this large ball of sand of time can at most raise his eternal divine body to the 5th level. Yang Xiaoshan continued to collect. Finally, Yang Xiaoshan came to the end of this galaxy space. At the end of the galaxy space, there was a huge sand of time swimming. If the scattered sands of time he encountered before were small fish, then the sands of time in front of him were a giant whale. This sand of time swam together, and it was 30 or 40 meters long. Seeing the sand of time, Yang Xiaoshan was overjoyed. He didn't expect that there would be such a large sand of time at the end of this galaxy space. The eternal divine body becomes more and more difficult to improve as time goes on. But with such a large sand of time, it will definitely allow him to improve his eternal divine body to the peak of the 6th level or even the 7th level. Yang Xiaoshan flew towards the huge sand of time in joy. When he arrived in front of the huge sand of time, suddenly, the world shook. To be precise, the entire galaxy space suddenly shook violently. A vast and terrifying force roared from the front of the galaxy. This terrifying force, like a super hurricane, rolled and blasted towards Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshen's face changed, and without hesitation, he activated the 9 Great Hongmeng Holy Fruits and the 15 Hunyuan Fates, and at the same time, he fully activated the power of the Eternal Divine Body. Driven by the power of the Eternal God Body, the huge ball of time sand flew towards Yang Xiaoshen. Yang Xiaoshen had just collected the huge ball of time sand when the terrifying power hit him. Almost instantly, Yang Xiaoshen was blown away. The whole person flew backwards like a kite with a broken string. Yang Xiaoshen opened his mouth and spit out a mouthful of blood. This was almost the first time Yang Xiaoshen was injured. Even before, when he was on the Poison Mist Island and faced the crazy attack of the leader of the 9 Nether Demon clan, he was not injured like this. But now, he is already the 9th level of the Holy Realm, and his strength is many times stronger than when he was on the Poison Mist Island, but he was still blown away and injured. Yang Xiaoshen was shocked and looked over. At the end of the galaxy in front of him, an extremely huge beast poked its body out of the void. This beast, its whole body is like a galaxy, dotted with bits of starlight. Could it be the Milky Way beast? Yang Xiaoshen's face changed drastically. The Milky Way beast, a legendary terrifying beast. This giant galaxy beast, with terrifying strength, is definitely more terrifying than any other beast he has ever seen, and has surpassed the Lord of the Abyss. The giant galaxy beast suddenly opened its mouth, and a huge galaxy of light blasted towards Yang Xiaoshen. Yang Xiaoshen didn't care about anything else, and immediately summoned the Abyss spaceship and frantically drove the Abyss spaceship. Boom. Just as the Abyss spaceship was driven, the galaxy of light came. Although the Abyss spaceship was not hit head-on, it was also hit by the edge of the galaxy of light. The Abyss spaceship and Yang Xiaoshen continued to rotate and shoot backwards. After flying backwards for an unknown number of miles, the Abyss spaceship stopped. Although Yang Xiaoshen had the Abyss spaceship's forbidden defense, he was still shocked, and his blood was surging. Without hesitation, Yang Xiaoshen drove the Abyss spaceship into a stream of light and disappeared at the end of the galaxy. Fortunately, the giant galaxy beast did not continue to chase him. Yang Xiaoshen drove the Abyss spaceship all the way, and when he saw that the giant galaxy beast did not chase him, he felt relieved. Yang Xiaoshen swallowed the next mouthful of the 6th heavenly tribulation thunder water, and it took him several days to get out of the galaxy space. After leaving the galaxy space, Yang Xiaoshen weighed the pros and cons, and decided to go to the Zumi Divine Mountain in Jinzhou first. If he could obtain the inheritance left by the Lord of Heaven and Earth, his strength would be able to improve again. As for the galaxy giant beast in the depths of the galaxy space, he would come again after he cultivated the 15th Hongmeng Holy Fruit and broke through the realm of the gods to see if he could subdue it. The galaxy giant beast was born by condensing the power of stars and time. If he could subdue the galaxy giant beast and keep it company, it would be extremely beneficial for his eternal divine body cultivation and other exercises. So, Yang Xiaoshen drove the Abyss spaceship to the Zumi Divine Mountain in Jinzhou. On the way, he began to refine the sand of time in the secret room of the spaceship to cultivate the eternal divine body. The sand of time continued to merge into Yang Xiaoshen's body and transformed into the time power of the eternal divine body. Yang Xiaoshen's original 4th level eternal divine body finally broke through again and entered the 5th level. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 641. Why do I need anyone else to take action? I'm enough. Of course, when Yang Xiaoshen was refining the sand of time, he also swallowed the destiny fruit to practice. Therefore, when the eternal divine body was upgraded, Yang Xiaoshen's Hunyu and destiny divine body was also upgraded, and Yang Xiaoshen's strength was also steadily improving. When Yang Xiaoshen came to the Zumi Divine Mountain in Jinzhou, his eternal divine body finally broke through to the 7th level. However, seeing the Zumi Divine Mountain, Yang Xiaoshen temporarily stopped practicing the eternal divine body. Although the Zumi Divine Mountain is called a mountain, it is actually formed by tens of thousands of peaks. Among the tens of thousands of peaks, there are many Buddhist forces. Therefore, when Yang Xiaoshan entered the Zumi Mountains, he saw many Buddhist disciples along the way. After a while, Yang Xiaoshan came to the main peak of the Zumi Mountains, Zumi Divine Mountain. Zumi Divine Mountain is the largest peak in the Zumi Mountains, towering into the clouds. When Yang Xiaoshan arrived, many Buddhist disciples and disciples of other sects also climbed the Zumi Divine Mountain. Zumi Divine Mountain has the inheritance of the Lord of Heaven and Earth, so every day many disciples from major empires come to try their luck to see if they can get the inheritance of the Lord of Heaven and Earth. Yang Xiaoshan flew to the top of the mountain. When he reached the middle of the mountain, he saw a huge square. He saw many disciples from various empires gathered in front of a huge stone tablet in front of the square. This huge stone tablet was dozens of meters high and filled with divine light. Heaven and earth glory together. On the stone tablet, the 4 words heaven and earth glory together were written with supreme sword energy. Seeing the stone tablet, Yang Xiaoshan walked over confidently. Before coming here, he had inquired and learned about Mount Zumi from many sources. This divine tablet of heaven and earth glory together was left by the ruler of heaven and earth back then. The 4 words heaven and earth glory together contain countless sword energy mysteries left by the ruler of heaven and earth back then. If anyone can comprehend the sword energy mysteries contained in heaven and earth glory together, he will be filled with the energy of heaven and earth left by the ruler of heaven and earth. This is just like when he passed each level of the trial in the Heavenly Emperor Palace. He was filled with the energy of the Heavenly Emperor. Just when Yang Xiaoshan came to the Heaven and Earth Monument and was about to participate in the Heaven and Earth Monument, there was a commotion, and a young man in a golden robe came over surrounded by a group of Buddhist masters. Son of Zumi is here. Son of Zumi has comprehended the mysteries of the sword energy in the 2 words of heaven and earth in the Heaven and Earth Monument over the past few hundred years. His talent is high and unprecedented. Yes, Taishi Shiandi could only comprehend the 2 words of heaven and earth in the Heaven and Earth Monument back then. It's a pity that Son of Zumi did not participate in this conferred god battle. Otherwise, Son of Zumi would definitely win the first place in this conferred god battle. Everyone was talking about it. Son of Zumi. Listening to everyone's discussion, Yang Xiaoshan knew who this young man was. Son of Zumi, Chen Shangzi. It is said that Zumi is the inheritance left by a registered disciple of the Lord of Heaven and Earth. After millions of years of development, it is now the #1 force in Jinsao. The power of Zumi even surpasses any empire in Jinsao. And Chen Shangzi, son of Zumi, is known as the #1 of the younger generation in Jinsao. But for some reason, Chen Zongzi did not participate in the Conferred Gods War. When he participated in the Conferred Gods War, many masters of the sect still regretted that Chen Zongzi did not participate in the Conferred Gods War. Seeing Chen Zongzi coming, many masters at the scene automatically made way and bowed to Chen Zongzi. Many masters who were originally standing in front of the Heaven and Earth Monument to comprehend also hurriedly retreated. In the end, only Yang Xiaoshan was left in front of the Heaven and Earth Monument. Everyone was surprised to see Yang Xiaoshan still standing in front of the Heaven and Earth Monument. Even Chen Zongzi was surprised. In recent years, whenever he came to the Heaven and Earth Monument to comprehend, the disciples at the scene would automatically give way. The master of the Zumi divine sect behind Chen Zongzi frowned and was about to step forward to drive Yang Xiaoshan away. Suddenly, a disciple in the crowd looked at Yang Xiaoshan excitedly. It's the Lord of the Divine Protector Medicine. As soon as this disciple spoke, there was a brief silence at the scene. Everyone was shocked and looked at the light blue figure standing in front of the divine monument in horror. Even the masters of Zumi divine religion were shocked. The Zumi divine religion ancestor who was about to step forward to drive Yang Xiaoshan away was so frightened that his hands trembled. After the battle of the god conferred god, who doesn't know the name of the god of medicine? 15 primordial destinies, 5 great primordial fruits. The eternal divine body and the primordial destiny divine body are all eternal miracles. Although the people of the Xian family and the Zhao family are now fanning the flames everywhere, saying that Yang Xiaoshan is the descendant of the Xiangu Corpse demon clan, it still cannot cover up the eternal light of Yang Xiaoshan. Hearing that the person in front of him was the #1 divine protector of medicine god in the battle of the gods, Chen Zongzi's eyes narrowed and he said, "So you are the divine protector of medicine god." At this point, he said in a deep voice. I heard that you are the descendant of the ancient celestial corpse demon clan, right? Yang Xiaoshan turned his head and looked at him. So what if you are? So what if you aren't? Chen Zongzi stared at Yang Xiaoshan. The ancient celestial corpse demon clan ravaged the Zongshan continent. In the Battle of Xiandi City, dozens of ancestors of Mizumi divine sect died at the hands of the ancient celestial corpse demon clan. Since you are the descendant of the ancient celestial corpse demon clan, I have to seek justice for the dozens of ancestors of Mizumi divine sect who died. At this point, Chen Zongzi locked his eyes on Yang Xiaoshan. Hearing Chen Zongzi's righteous words, saying that he wanted to seek justice for the dozens of dead ancestors of the Zumi divine religion, Yang Xiaoshan smiled coldly. Are you going to do it yourself? Or are all the masters of your Zumi divine religion going to do it together? Chen Zongzi shook his head and said, why do I need others to do it? I'm enough. I heard that your combat power is unparalleled throughout the ages. With the 5th level of the Holy Realm, you can sweep away all the 4th and 5th levels of the gods. Today, I, Chen Zongzi, will experience your unparalleled combat power throughout the ages. At this point, Chen Zongzi's whole body was full of divine light, and he activated all the divine veins in his body. Suddenly, the world shook. 168 divine veins. Seeing that Chen Zongzi actually activated 168 divine veins, everyone was shocked. In the previous battle of the Heavenly Court to confer the gods, Huang Heo of the prehistoric Qilin clan, who had the blood of the Qilin ancestor, only opened up 120 divine veins. Even so, it shocked the world. Now, Chen Zongzi has opened up 168 divine veins. The shock in everyone's heart can be imagined. Yang Xiaoshan did not expect that Chen Zongzi actually opened up 168 divine veins. Such talent is indeed amazing. Moreover, Chen Zongzi is only at the peak of the 5th level of the divine spirit. According to his talent, when he breaks through to the 10th level of the divine spirit, he may be able to open up 800 or even 900 divine veins. Zumari Divine Fist. The moment Chen Zongzi activated his 168 divine veins, he suddenly punched Yang Xiaoshan. The fist broke through the air. The golden light exploded. At this moment, everyone in the entire Zumi mountain range felt Chen Zongzi's vast Zumi power. Zumari Divine Fist. Could it be that the son of Zumi God has taken action? Who is reckless and provoked the son of Zumi God? Countless masters of the sects in the Zumi mountain range were shocked, and they all looked at the Zumi divine mountain in shock. Chapter 642, Comprehending the Divine Monument of Heaven and Earth. There are hundreds of millions of masters in Zumi divine religion, but only Chen Zongzi, the son of Zumi divine, can successfully practice Zumi divine fist. Therefore, when everyone felt the power of Zumi divine fist, they immediately knew that it was Chen Zongzi, the son of Zumi divine, who made the move. Zumi divine fist is extremely difficult to practice successfully, because to practice Zumi divine fist, one needs to comprehend the power of heaven and earth and constantly integrate the power of heaven and earth into the power of fist. And the later it is, the more difficult it is to practice. But even so, Chen Zongzi still practiced Zumi divine fist to the 11th level in just a few hundred years. The 11th level of Zumi divine fist can integrate the power of heaven and earth within a radius of 10,000 miles into the power of fist. When Zumi divine fist blasted towards Yang Xiaoshan, it was as if the heaven and earth within a radius of 10,000 miles were suppressing Yang Xiaoshan. The terrifying power of heaven made all the masters at the scene change color. The Zumi divine fist in front of them was about to blow Yang Xiaoshan away with terrifying power of heaven. Yang Xiaoshan's 9 primordial holy fruits were instantly activated, and the 9 primordial holy fruits behind him condensed. The violent power of primordial. As Yang Xiaoshan activated his eternal divine body, the light of time surged up into the sky like a huge wave. An eternal and immortal aura swept from Yang Xiaoshan. As the light of time surged up into the sky, it unexpectedly condensed into one time rune after another. These runes were so dazzling. At the moment when Yang Xiaoshan activated his eternal divine body, the Zumi divine mountain, which had stood still for tens of millions of years, suddenly ejected a series of dazzling time lights. At this moment, Yang Xiaoshan seemed to have merged with the Zumi divine mountain. Yang Xiaoshan was the Zumi divine mountain. The Zumi divine mountain was Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Zai Ocean punched out. The fist force broke through the air. A force from heaven merged into the fist force. Yang Zai Ocean stood tall in the world. Heavenly Dark Divine Fist. The strongest and most powerful skill of Xian Ming Xiandi, one of the 17 emperors of the heavenly court. The vast primordial holy power and the power of time roared out from the power of the divine fist. Boom. The two people's fists slammed together. The world shook. The terrifying force exploded and rushed towards the surrounding strong men. The strong men who had retreated to a distance long ago looked at the terrifying force rushing towards them, and their faces changed wildly. They frantically supported their divine power and retreated with all their strength. The son of Zumi God, Chen Zongzi, felt as if his whole body was hit hard by the Zumi God mountain. He flew backwards and fell hard several miles away. After falling to the ground, blood spurted wildly. Chen Zongzi looked at Yang Zai Ocean in horror. 9 Great Hong Meng Holy Fruits. Great Success Eternal Divine Body. Heavenly Nether Divine Fist. During the conferred God War, Yang Zai Ocean was only at the 5th level of the Holy Realm. In less than a year, he has already reached the 9th level of the Holy Realm and condensed 9 Great Hong Meng Holy Fruits. Moreover, during the conferred God War, Yang Zai Ocean's eternal divine body was only at the small success realm. In less than a year, it became the great success realm. And how did Yang Zai Ocean know the heavenly nether divine fist of the heavenly nether emperor? The heavenly nether divine fist is a secret that is not passed on in the heavenly court. Only the heavenly emperors and young emperors of the heavenly court can learn it. Everyone was looking at Yang Zai Ocean's 9 Great Hong Meng Holy Fruits, the eternal divine body of the great accomplishment realm, in disbelief. The eternal divine body breaks through to the 7th level and reaches the great accomplishment realm. The eternal divine body of the great accomplishment realm, the power of time can condense into time runes, and the power is terrifying. No one can believe that Yang Zai Ocean broke through from the 5th level of the Holy Realm to the 9th level of the Holy Realm in less than a year. If he continues to practice like this, who in the world can stop Yang Zai Ocean's punch after 100 years? Who else is Yang Zai Ocean's opponent? Son of God. At this time, all the masters of the Zumi divine religion at the scene rushed to Chen Zongzi. Chen Zongzi stood up and signaled that everyone was fine. I didn't expect that you would break through to the 9th level of the Holy Realm in less than a year. Chen Zongzi's voice was hoarse. As soon as he said this, his blood and ki surged. When he opened his mouth, another mouthful of blood spurted out. Chen Zongzi couldn't hide his fear. He was born with 2 divine bodies and later cultivated into the Zumi divine body. With a flesh body, his defense was invincible, but he still couldn't stop Yang Zai Ocean's punch. Yang Zai Ocean is only at the 9th level of the Saint Realm now. He is so strong at the 9th level of the Saint Realm. What will happen if he breaks through to the Divine Realm? At this time, a 10th level Divine Realm ancestor of the Zumi divine religion stared at Yang Zai Ocean with murderous intent on his face. Yang Zai Ocean, in the Battle of Xiandi City, all 3 of my disciples were killed by the Xiangu Corpse Demon Clan. Today, I will avenge my disciples. Having said this, he was about to take action. However, just as the ancestor was about to take action, Chen Zongzi stretched out his hand to stop him. He shook his head and said, Mr. Cheng, let's go back first. With Yang Zai Ocean's current terrifying combat power, I'm afraid that even Mr. Cheng, who is at the 10th level of the Divine Realm, may not be able to kill Yang Zai Ocean. In the end, Chen Zongzi flew away with a group of masters of the Zumi divine religion. Yang Zai Ocean glanced at the strong men on the scene. Is there anyone else who wants to take action? Yang Zai Ocean had the Tangshan divine sword and the Kangshan sword on him. Originally, some people did have the idea of killing Yang Zai Ocean, just like Chen Zongzi, under the slogan of killing the descendants of the Xiangu Corpse Demon Clan. But now, how dare these people take action again? Yang Zai Ocean turned his head and his eyes fell on the heaven and earth divine monument again. After Chen Zongzi and others left, a large number of strong men from the Zumi divine cult might come soon, so he had to comprehend the mystery of the sword energy of the heaven and earth divine monument as soon as possible. Legend has it that, in order to obtain the inheritance of the master of heaven and earth, one must comprehend the heaven and earth divine monument. Yang Zai Ocean's eyes fell on the word on the heaven and earth divine monument. The word on the heaven and earth divine monument contains 10,000 sword energies. Taelong Xianzhen, the strongest man of the dragon clan in the ancient times, took a full month to comprehend the word, which was also the fastest to comprehend the word in history. But now, Yang Xiaoshan didn't have a month to comprehend. Zumi divine religion was in Zumi mountain. I'm afraid that within a day, a large number of masters of Zumi divine religion would flock there. Therefore, he had to comprehend the 4 characters of the heaven and earth monument completely within a day. In Yang Xiaoshan's eyes, the ordinary word flew out one after another sword energy. Soon, all the 10,000 swords in the word flew out. An ordinary sword genius, comprehending the word, even if he comprehended it for 100 years, could not see the 10,000 sword energy in the word, but now, in just a few breaths, all the 10,000 sword energy in the word appeared in Yang Xiaoshan's eyes. However, seeing the 10,000 sword energy in the word was only the first step. The most difficult thing next was to comprehend all the mysteries in the 10,000 sword energy. In Yang Xiaoshan's eyes, the 10,000 sword energy slowly changed. These sword energy were no longer sword energy, but all things in heaven and earth. With the change of sword energy, the word in the heaven and earth monument began to bloom with layers of sword light. These sword lights shone on Zumi divine mountain. The powerful people around were stunned when they saw Yang Xiaoshan standing in front of the heaven and earth monument. Before even a cup of tea had passed, the word on the heaven and earth monument suddenly burst into a sword light that shone brightly on the heaven and earth. Many ancestors in the god realm thought of something and looked horrified. This is impossible. Chapter 643. The Zhao family comes out in full force. In the ancient times, it took Taelong Xianzhen a month to comprehend the word Xian. This record has been maintained for tens of millions of years. No one has ever broken it. Hundreds of years ago, Zumi god's son Shenzongzi comprehended the word Xian, and it took him a month and 3 days to shake the million empires. It is for this reason that Zumi god's son Shenzongzi was revered as the first genius in Jinzhou. Some people even believe that Shenzongzi will be able to reach the height of Taelong Xianzhen in the future. But now, Yang Xiaoshan has comprehended the word Xian in less than a cup of tea. The word Xian blooms with sword rays, which is exactly the phenomenon of comprehending the word Xian and Xian sword energy. When the Xianzi sword energy of the Xianzi on the Xiandi divine monument blooms, the light of the Xiandi divine monument surges, and the aura of heaven and earth emerges one after another. These auras of heaven and earth pour into Yang Xiaoshan's body and transform into Yang Xiaoshan's holy power. Seeing the aura of heaven and earth filling Yang Xiaoshan's body, the faces of the ancestors are complicated, envious, jealous, fearful, and fanatically worshipful. Many sword geniuses have spent their entire lives unable to comprehend the word Xian, and have been unable to get the aura of heaven and earth filled in their bodies, but Yang Xiaoshan did it in less than a cup of tea. The benefits of having the energy of heaven and earth infused into the body are not only to improve the cultivation. It will be easier to comprehend the power of heaven and earth in the future. Shenzongzi was able to successfully practice the Zumi Divine Fist because he comprehended the 2 words heaven and earth on the heaven and earth divine monument, and in just a few hundred years, he practiced the Zumi Divine Fist to the 11th level. With the energy of heaven and earth infused into his body, Yang Xiaoshan, who was originally at the peak of the 9th level of the middle stage of the Holy Realm, made another breakthrough, and entered the 9th level of the late stage of the Holy Realm. Seeing that he had broken through to the 9th level of the Holy Realm, Yang Xiaoshan looked at the word earth with joy. The word earth contains more sword energy, 100,000 sword energy. If he comprehends the 100,000 sword energy of the word earth, he will be able to get more energy of heaven and earth in his body. Maybe then, he can break through the 10th level of the Holy Realm in one fell swoop. Yang Xiaoshan began to comprehend the 100,000 sword energy in the word earth with all his heart and soul. Under his comprehension, the 100,000 sword energy in the word earth began to awaken. Just like the word sky, one sword energy after another began to appear. The news that Yang Xiaoshan had comprehended the word spread quickly. Shenzongzi and the masters of Zumi Divine Sect had just left Zumi Divine Mountain when they heard the news. Upon learning that Yang Xiaoshan had comprehended the word Shenzongzi, his suppressed blood surged again, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. How could it be? His face was full of disbelief. At the beginning, it took him a month and 3 days to comprehend the word, which was already terrifying and shocked the heavens. Even Taishi Shiandi and many Shianjins were alarmed. Now, how long did Yang Zai Ocean take? He had just left Zumi Divine Mountain, and in just a short while, Yang Zai Ocean succeeded in comprehending it. Not to mention Shenzong's his disbelief, the masters of Zumi Divine Sect also didn't believe it. The 10th level ancestor of the Divine Spirit who had vowed to kill Yang Zai Ocean and avenge his 3 disciples said in a deep voice, "We can't let Yang Zai Ocean comprehend the divine stele of heaven and earth again. He is the descendant of the ancient corpse demon clan. If he comprehends the divine stele of heaven and earth, and inherits the inheritance of the Lord of heaven and earth, it will definitely be a misfortune for the world." Another ancestor said in a deep voice, "Yes, if Yang Zai Ocean inherits the inheritance of the Lord of heaven and earth, the ancient corpse demon clan will be able to dominate the world. Then the world will fall into permanent darkness. Let's go back now, and ask the Lord of the sect to take action. Kill Yang Zai Ocean." Chen Zongzi frowned. "Let's talk about it when we get back." When Chen Zongzi and others returned to the main hall of Zumi Divine Sect, they found that the Lord of Zumi Divine Sect and a group of ancient ancestors gathered in one hall, and were discussing the matter of Yang Zai Ocean. Obviously, the news that Yang Zai Ocean had comprehended the divine stele of heaven and earth had also alarmed the Lord of Zumi Divine Sect and a group of masters. "Master." Chen Zongzi came to the main hall, and bowed to the Lord of Zumi Divine Sect ZB. "Zia, are you okay?" ZB asked as his face relaxed when he saw Chen Zongzi coming back. "Master, I'm fine." Chen Zongzi shook his head and sat down. "Zia, what do you think about Yang Zai Ocean's comprehension of the heaven and earth divine monument?" ZB asked Chen Zongzi. Chen Zongzi hesitated for a moment and said, "Yang Zai Ocean has comprehended the word heaven in less than a cup of tea. This person's martial arts talent has reached an incredible level. If he continues to comprehend, I'm afraid he can really comprehend the 4 words heaven and earth shine together." Everyone in the hall felt depressed. Everyone understood what it meant to comprehend the 4 words heaven and earth shine together. "We can't let Yang Zai Ocean get the inheritance of the Lord of heaven and earth," a great ancestor of the heavenly god realm said in a deep voice. "No matter what, Yang Zai Ocean is the descendant of the ancient corpse demon clan. If he gets the inheritance of the Lord of heaven and earth, the world will be in chaos." "That's right, the founder of our Zumi divine religion is a registered disciple of the Lord of heaven and earth. The inheritance of the Lord of heaven and earth belongs to our Zumi divine religion." Another great ancestor of the heavenly god realm also said in a deep voice, "No matter what, Yang Zai Ocean can't get it. With the talent of heavy knowledge, if he comprehends for hundreds of years, he will be able to comprehend all 4 words of the heaven and earth divine monument." ZB's face was cloudy. Of course, he didn't want the inheritance of the Lord of heaven and earth to be obtained by outsiders. Just like the great ancestor said just now, the inheritance of the Lord of heaven and earth should belong to their Zumi divine religion. But if they tried to stop it, they would completely offend Yang Zai Ocean. If they couldn't kill Yang Zai Ocean, with Yang Zai Ocean's terrifying talent, once he grew up, it would be a disaster for the Zumi divine religion. Maybe the Zumi divine religion would be destroyed because of this. At this moment, suddenly, an old ancestor of Zumi divine religion came in and reported, "Master, I just got the news that Zhao Yun of the Zhao family has led a large number of masters to the Zumi mountains." "Oh, Zhao Yun." ZB's eyes lit up. "Yes, the masters of the Zhao family have come out in full force, vowing to kill Yang Zai Ocean. They will arrive at the Zumi mountains in one day. If Yang Zai Ocean continues to comprehend the heaven and earth divine stele, he will not be able to escape this time." The old ancestor laughed. ZB's brows were fully relaxed, and he smiled. "Since the Zhao family has taken action, let's sit and watch the show. If the Zhao family arrives, Yang Zai Ocean will die." He didn't believe that Yang Zai Ocean could comprehend all 4 words of the heaven and earth divine stele in one day. As the old ancestor of Zumi divine religion said, this time the Zhao family came out in full force to kill Yang Zai Ocean. The Zhao family's spaceship was flying towards the Zumi mountains at a very fast speed. Zhao Yun stood at the bow of the spaceship with cold eyes. Behind him were hundreds of thousands of masters of the Zhao family, and all of them were masters of the Zhao family who had been famous for many years. The Zhao family has been passed down from ancient times, and is also the strongest family in Jinzhou. Its foundation is far stronger than many superfamilies in Zongshan continent. It's still too slow, Zhao Yun said. Although the Zhao family's spaceship is already very fast and is driven by the full power of the holy spiritual stone, he still thinks it is too slow. Thinking of Yang Xiaoshan killing his disciple Zhao Dingai during the competition in the pharmacist hall, he wished he could crush Yang Xiaoshan to death right now. Chapter 644. Heaven and Earth may have a second lord. In the competition of the pharmacist's main hall, it was not only Zhao Dingai who died. Many pharmacists of the Zhao family were also killed in this battle. In this battle, the Zhao family lost hundreds of 7-star and 8-star pharmacists and a 9-star medicine god. When the news came back to the Zhao family wanted to gnaw Yang Xiaoshan's flesh and blood. What made Zhao Yun grit his teeth even more was that when the news of his defeat in the competition with Yang Xiaoshan came out, he and the Zhao family had become a joke in Zongshan continent. His prestige as a storm medicine god plummeted. Some people have already teased him as the weak wind medicine god, and some even say he is the violent chicken medicine god. Zhao Yun stood at the bow, and the more he thought about it, the more murderous he felt in his heart. Faster, faster, Zhao Yun said angrily. Just as the masters of the Zhao family rushed to the Zumi mountains frantically, many masters from the sects in the Zumi mountains also rushed to the Zumi divine mountain. Therefore, more and more masters climbed the Zumi divine mountain. Normally, only tens of thousands of people would climb Mount Zumi in a day, but now, countless masters from various sects were pouring into Mount Zumi from all directions. Just as countless masters from various sects were pouring into Mount Zumi, Yang Xiaoshan stood in front of the Heaven and Earth monument, and the 100,000 sword key of the word Earth finally appeared in front of him. Just like the 10,000 sword key of the word Heaven, the 100,000 sword key of the word Earth gradually changed and became the Heaven and Earth. Moreover, the Heaven and Earth transformed by the sword key of the word Earth had more and more forms, more strange and varied, and more complex changes. The 100,000 sword key of the word Earth surrounded Yang Xiaoshan, and Yang Xiaoshan felt like he was in a wonderful world. This world was a pure world, a clean and flawless world, a world filled with sword key. Yang Xiaoshan closed his eyes and carefully felt all the changes in this world. The whole square was silent. Everyone stared at Yang Xiaoshan intently. Just as everyone was looking forward to it, suddenly, the word Earth on the Heaven and Earth monument began to bloom with sword rays, just like the word Heaven just now. However, the sword light of the word Earth was stronger, more gorgeous and more dazzling. The light of the Heaven and Earth monument was surging. If the light of the Heaven and Earth monument was gushing like a spring, when the word Heaven was shining, now it was a 1,000-foot waterfall. The light of the Heaven and Earth monument illuminated every inch of the square. Seeing the light of the Heaven and Earth monument surging, the sword energy of the word Earth gushing, and the infinite mystery of sword energy, everyone at the scene was deeply shocked. Some powerful people from all sides who rushed to see this wonder from afar were also deeply shocked. 1 hour to comprehend the 2 words of Heaven and Earth. In an hour, Yang Xiaoshan comprehended the 2 words of Heaven and Earth in succession. What a monstrous talent. You must know that Tai Lung Xianzhen spent a full month to comprehend the word Heaven, but it took a full 100 years to comprehend the word Earth. 100 years. But Yang Xiaoshan only took an hour. Even many powerful people from the sects who were bewitched by the Xian family and the Zhao family and did not have a good impression of Yang Xiaoshan were deeply shocked at this moment. I'm afraid that the second master of Heaven and Earth will appear. An old ancestor was shocked and muttered to himself. The second master of Heaven and Earth. Many powerful people from various sects were even more shocked when they heard this. Yang Xiaoshan is the descendant of the ancient corpse demon clan, and his master is the son of the ancient corpse demon, Duan Yangmu. He is not worthy of inheriting the master of Heaven and Earth. We can't let him inherit the master of Heaven and Earth. Everyone, take action and stop him. At this time, someone in the crowd suddenly shouted angrily. Everyone looked and found that the one who spoke was Huang Heo, the son of the Han Huang Kilin clan. In the battle of the conferred god in the heavenly court, Huang Heo condensed the 14 Teacher holy fruits, which shocked all parties. Many people at the scene recognized Huang Heo. Yes, Yang Xiaoshan is the descendant of the ancient corpse demon clan. We can't let him inherit the master of Heaven and Earth. Everyone, Take action together and kill this beast. At this time, someone in the crowd shouted angrily again. The one who spoke was the ancestor of the Temple of Destiny. Under the instigation of Huang Heo and the ancestor of the Temple of Destiny, the scene was in turmoil. Many people were ready to move. At this moment, the world shook, and countless heaven and earth auras roared and poured into Yang Zai Ocean's body. Under the crazy infusion of the energy of heaven and earth, Yang Zai Ocean's aura began to rise steadily. Yang Zai Ocean, who was originally in the late 9th level of the Holy Realm, quickly rose to the peak of the late 9th level of the Holy Realm. Suddenly, Yang Zai Ocean's whole body was shining brightly. An extremely powerful aura spread from Yang Zai Ocean. 10th level of the Holy Realm. Feeling Yang Zai Ocean's extremely powerful aura, many ancestors took a breath of cold air. Many masters who were originally ready to move were frightened and stopped, looking at Yang Zai Ocean in horror. Yang Zai Ocean, who broke through the 10th level of the Holy Realm, had such a strong aura that many 10th level ancestors of the Divine Spirit at the scene felt a sense of difficulty breathing. And Huang Heo, who was in the 5th level of the Divine Spirit, was suffocated by Yang Zai Ocean's aura. Huang Heo looked at Yang Zai Ocean, unable to hide the fear in his eyes. It was so terrifying at the 10th level of the Holy Realm. If Yang Zai Ocean broke through the Divine Spirit realm, how terrifying would it be? If Yang Zai Ocean broke through the Divine Spirit, I'm afraid that many gods would not be able to suppress Yang Zai Ocean. Young Master, should we make a move? A Killin ancestor of the late 10th level of the Divine Spirit said. Although he said he would make a move, his hands were shaking. Huang Heo's face was gloomy. In the conferred gods battle, he was defeated by Yang Zai Ocean. This time, he came to Mount Zumi with the intention of comprehending the divine monument of heaven and earth, to see if he could obtain the inheritance of the Lord of Heaven and Earth, and then find Yang Zai Ocean, to wash away the shame. Unexpectedly, as soon as he arrived at Mount Zumi, he heard someone say that Yang Zai Ocean had comprehended the word heaven. But when he rushed over, he found that Yang Zai Ocean had even comprehended the word earth. What shocked him was that Yang Zai Ocean, who was only at the 5th level of the Holy Realm in the conferred gods battle, had actually broken through to the 10th level of the Holy Realm. Just as Huang Heo was hesitating whether to let the Killin clan master make a move, Yang Zai Ocean's eyes fell on the word Tong, and the words heaven and earth are in harmony. The sword energy contained in the word Tong was even more, reaching millions. Under Yang Zai Ocean's full mind and understanding, the millions of sword energies contained in the word Tong began to gradually awaken. Millions of sword ki turned into a huge sword dragon, flying out from the word same. The sword dragon was lifelike, and each dragon scale was a sword ki. After the sword dragon flew out, it suddenly turned into millions of sword ki. When it condensed again, it became an extremely huge sword mountain. Then, it exploded again, and turned into millions of sword ki. When it condensed again, it became an extremely huge sword river. Millions of sword ki changed in 1,000 ways, making people dazzled. The 100,000 sword ki of the word D before also changed in 1,000 ways, but the changes were slow, while the million sword ki of the word same changed extremely quickly, and the naked eye could not see its changes at all, let alone comprehend the mystery of the million sword ki. Yang Zai Ocean frowned. If this continued, he would not be able to comprehend the million sword ki of the word same, even if it was a year, let alone a day. As time passed, the changes of the million sword ki not only did not slow down, but became faster and faster. At the beginning, Yang Zai Ocean could still see the sword ki, but in the end he could only see a series of residual images. Chapter 645. How could it be so fast? Looking at the after images in the sky, Yang Zai Ocean frowned. Even though Yang Zai Ocean's soul power was extremely strong, he felt dizzy when he stared at the million sword ki that changed so quickly. Many ancestors saw Yang Zai Ocean frowning and couldn't help but speculate. I heard that the third word, the million sword ki, changes so quickly that it is impossible to see clearly. An ancestor said, when Talon Shianzan comprehended the third word, he came to comprehend it every day regardless of wind and rain, and it took him hundreds of years to comprehend it thoroughly. Spending hundreds of years to comprehend the third word of the heaven and earth monument. Such perseverance is amazing. It took hundreds of years to comprehend the third word. It is said that the second sword god of the sword god temple spent thousands of years and still could not comprehend the third word, and finally had to give up. Spending thousands of years to comprehend a word. In the end, he had to give up. It can be seen how difficult it is to comprehend the third word of the Heaven and Earth Monument. The leader of the Sword and Sword sect, who was born with the 3 supreme sword bodies, spent tens of thousands of years and still could not comprehend the third word. Everyone discussed. The leader of the Sword and Sword sect is also a super overlord in the world. But even so, he still couldn't comprehend the third word after tens of thousands of years. Yang Xiaoshan comprehended the first 2 words in an hour, and he may not be able to comprehend the third word in 10 years. 10 years. He may not be able to comprehend the third word even in 50 years. I heard that Zhao Yun led a large number of Zhao family masters to come, and they are already halfway, and they will reach Mount Zumi in less than a day. The voices of discussion in the crowd reached Yang Xiaoshan's ears. Zhao Yun can reach Mount Zumi in less than a day. Yang Xiaoshan frowned when he heard this. Looking at the sword energy after images in the sky, he used all his strength to activate the power of the 15 sword hearts. Suddenly, Yang Xiaoshan's whole body burst into 9-color light. Everyone's eyes hurt. Under the power of Yang Xiaoshan's 15 sword hearts, the millions of sword energy in the sky suddenly glowed, as if they were given life, and each sword energy was vivid. The millions of sword energy that originally had countless after images finally appeared in Yang Xiaoshan's eyes one by one. And the myriad changes of the millions of sword energy also appeared in Yang Xiaoshan's eyes one by one. Yang Xiaoshan was delighted. Originally, he just tried it with the trial mentality, but he didn't expect that the 15 invincible sword hearts would really work. Yang Xiaoshan gathered his mind, and, with the help of the 15 invincible sword hearts, began to comprehend the mysteries of the millions of sword ki. 1, 2, 3, 100,000, 300,000. As Yang Xiaoshan continued to comprehend the mysteries of the millions of sword ki, the same word on the Heaven and Earth Divine Monument began to emit sword rays, and the light of the Heaven and Earth Divine Monument became stronger and stronger. The powerful people who had originally said that Yang Xiaoshan might not be able to comprehend the third word in 10 or 50 years were stunned. Yang Xiaoshan took an hour to comprehend the first 2 words. But if this continued, the third word would not even take an hour. Just as everyone was stunned, they found that the sword rays of the third word were emitting more and more, reaching 500,000. Everyone was shocked. The whole square was rumbling. Huang Heo looked at Yang Xiaoshan and suddenly felt a sense of fear. Previously, even though he knew that Yang Xiaoshan had cultivated the 15 primordial destinies and the Hangmeng holy fruit, he was not afraid. But now, seeing Yang Xiaoshan's terrifying speed in comprehending the Heaven and Earth Divine Monument, he was afraid. But, suddenly, the Heaven and Earth Divine Monument shone brightly. Huang Heo and the others looked over and found that the sword beams of the third word had reached 600,000. There were only 400,000 left to comprehend the third word. Soon, the news that Yang Xiaoshan had comprehended the third word within an hour spread. Countless sects in the entire Zumi mountain range were even more shocked. When ZB, Chen Zongzi and other Zumi divine sect masters heard the news, they could not hide their shock. In less than an hour, he will be able to comprehend the third word of 1 million sword ki. The heavenly god realm great ancestor looked unbelievable. Could it be a misunderstanding? I heard that Yang Xiaoshan activated the power of the 15 invincible sword hearts, and in less than half an hour, he comprehended the third word of 600,000 sword ki. Now there are only 400,000 sword ki left to comprehend the third word. An old ancestor muttered. 15 invincible sword hearts. The whole hall was silent. At this time, Zhao Yun and the Zhao family masters also learned that Yang Xiaoshan was about to comprehend the third word. Upon hearing the news, Zhao Yun's face was ugly. He was shocked and murderous. Don't worry, ancestor. Even if Yang Xiaoshan has 15 invincible sword hearts and can comprehend the third word, it is impossible for him to comprehend the fourth word in one day. Zhao Ji, the head of the Zhao family, said. Yes, the fourth word. No one can comprehend it at all. I don't believe that Yang Xiaoshan can comprehend it in one day. Zhao Liang said coldly. As long as Yang Xiaoshan can't comprehend the fourth word in one day, it's fine. because within one day, they can reach Mount Zumi. We Zao family still have a god level spirit stone, right? Zao Yun asked in a deep voice. If the god level spirit stone is used to drive the spacecraft, the speed of the spacecraft will be greatly increased again. By then, they can reach Mount Zumi within an hour. Yes. Zao Ji, the guardian of the Zao family, hesitated for a moment and said with a stiff face, "It's just that the divine level spiritual stone, I didn't bring it with me. It's in the family treasury." After all, this divine level spiritual stone is a treasure inherited by the Zao family, and he couldn't bring it with him. Zao Yun frowned and said, "I'll go there first, and you can come later." Having said this, without waiting for Zao Ji and others to speak, he took off into the air, turned into a stream of light, and disappeared into the sky. At this time, the third word of the Heaven and Earth monument had already bloomed with 700,000 sword beams. Almost every breath, hundreds of sword beams bloomed. Soon, it broke through to 800,000 sword beams, then 900,000. Everyone at the scene held their breath. But when 1 million sword beams bloomed, the entire Heaven and Earth monument gushed out like a sea of light, and Mount Zumi seemed to be covered with heavy light. Countless sect masters in the Zumi mountains saw this amazing light. ZB, Chen Zongzi and others from the Zumi divine sect were standing in the main hall of the Zumi divine sect and also saw this amazing light. The third word, I have comprehended it thoroughly. How could it be so fast? Just now, there were only 600,000 sword ki, but it has only been a short time, and he has already comprehended the third word. In the shock of the crowd, the key of heaven and earth roared, and the key of heaven and earth like the vast ocean poured into Yang Zai Ocean's body. Yang Zai Ocean, who had originally broken through the 10th level of the Holy Realm, had his aura rising again. Feeling Yang Zai Ocean's aura rising again, Huang Heo and the masters of the Killing God clan felt dry mouths. With the vast aura of heaven and earth pouring into his body, Yang Zai Ocean finally broke through to the middle 10th level of the Holy Realm. The moment he broke through the middle 10th level of the Holy Realm, his sea of heaven and earth shone brightly, and the 11th Hang Meng Holy Fruit began to condense. When the 11th Hang Meng Holy Fruit condensed successfully, Yang Zai Ocean's terrifying aura swept across, blasting countless powerful people around him, and retreating in panic. Chapter 646. What if I really comprehended the fourth word? Just now, Yang Zai Ocean broke through the 10th level of the Holy Realm, and condensed the 10th Hang Meng Holy Fruit. The strong breath made many 10th level ancestors of the gods have difficulty breathing. And now, Yang Zai Ocean condensed the 11th Hang Meng Holy Fruit. The strong breath made many 10th level late stage gods change their faces. Knowing that time is urgent, Yang Zai Ocean did not stop. After integrating the third word of the heaven and earth key into his body, and continued to comprehend the fourth word. The fourth word has more sword energy. It contains tens of millions of sword energy. It is also the most difficult to comprehend among the four words of heaven and earth Tanghu. Since the heaven and earth monument stood up to the present, after countless years, no one has ever been able to comprehend it successfully. At that time, Tailong Xianzhen comprehended it for a full 100,000 years, regardless of wind and rain, but he could not comprehend it successfully, and finally he could only give up in despair. Not only Tailong Xianzhen could not comprehend it, but many heavenly emperors in the heavenly court also could not comprehend it successfully. Seeing Yang Zai Ocean begin to comprehend the fourth word, everyone fell silent, and stared at Yang Zai Ocean without blinking. Even Huang Heo and the Killing God clan's warriors held their breath, and stared at Yang Zai Ocean nervously. What if the god of medicine guardian really comprehended the fourth word? Someone suddenly spoke in silence. He really comprehended the fourth word. Everyone was shocked. What if Yang Zai Ocean really comprehended the fourth word? Huang Heo and the Killing God clan's warriors also changed their expressions again and again. Yang Zai Ocean was contemplating the fourth word with all his heart. In his eyes, the millions of sword energies of the fourth word finally began to awaken. 1, 2, 3. Soon, millions of sword energies. Finally, millions of sword energies. When all the millions of sword energies awakened, they flew out from the word HUI, and the sky and the ground were full of sword energies. The space that Yang Zai Ocean could see was filled with sword energies, and he seemed to have come to a world of sword energies. However, what surprised Yang Xiaoshan was that the millions of sword energies changed extremely slowly, so slowly that it could be described as a snail, slower than a turtle crawling. Just now, the third word, the sword energy changes very quickly, making it impossible to see clearly, and the fourth word is slow. Slow to the end of time, slow to make people vomit blood, slow to the point that it is almost the same as if it stopped there. Looking at the extremely slow change of the millions of sword energy, Yang Xiaoshan tried to activate the 15 invincible sword hearts again. Under the influence of the power of the 15 invincible sword hearts, the millions of sword energy really came to life, as if it was endowed with powerful vitality, shining, and the changes began to speed up. However, although the changes of the millions of sword energy were fast, they were only twice as fast as before. It was a little faster than a turtle crawling. If this goes on, let alone comprehending the millions of sword energy in one day, it will take decades to comprehend it. Because after decades, the millions of sword energy has not changed completely. How can you comprehend it? Even if you want to comprehend it, you can't comprehend it. Yang Xiaoshan frowned. Everyone saw Yang Xiaoshan's expression. The fourth word, the sword energy changes extremely slowly. Tailong Xianzhen once said that it would take at least 100 million years for the millions of sword energy to change completely. Said an ancestor. It would take 100 million years for all the changes to be complete. However, a person's lifespan is simply not that long. Even the strongest can't live that long. That's why Tailong Xianzhen gave up after comprehending for 100,000 years, knowing that he couldn't comprehend the fourth word in this lifetime. It seems that the 15 sword hearts of the god of medicine are not effective against the fourth word's 10 million sword ki. Everyone discussed. Yang Xiaoshan used all his strength to activate the 15 invincible sword hearts, but no matter how he activated the 15 invincible sword hearts, the 10 million sword ki changed slowly. Yang Xiaoshan frowned. Looking at the 10 million sword ki that was always changing slowly, Yang Xiaoshan suddenly had an idea and used all his strength to activate the eternal divine body. Suddenly, the surging power of time roared up and submerged the 10 million sword ki. When the power of time of the eternal divine body submerged the 10 million sword ki, the 10 million sword ki lay in the huge river of time and actually began to rotate with the power of the river of time. Seeing this, Yang Xiaoshan's face was overjoyed. He accelerated the operation of the river of time again. Sure enough, the faster the river of time moved, the faster the changes of the millions of sword energies. Yang Xiaoshan tried several times and was overjoyed. He did not expect that the time power of the eternal divine body could control the speed of change of the millions of sword energies. It seems that to comprehend the fourth word, one must have the eternal divine body. Without the eternal divine body, it is impossible to comprehend the four words of the divine monument of heaven and earth. Yang Xiaoshan was overjoyed and controlled the river of time to speed up. Under Yang Xiaoshan's control, the changes of the millions of sword energies gradually became clear in his mind. Finally, Yang Xiaoshan comprehended the mysteries of sword energies one after another. The fourth word began to bloom with layers of sword light. Everyone who was still discussing stopped and stared at the fourth word in disbelief. The fourth word, after thousands of years, had never bloomed with sword light, but at this moment, it finally bloomed with its own sword light. Its sword light was brighter than the sword light of any of the previous words. Everyone was shocked by the sword light of the fourth word. After so many years, the fourth word finally blooms with its own sword light. An old ancestor saw the fourth word blooming with sword light and suddenly felt like crying in shock. Huang Heo looked at the fourth word blooming with sword light and his face turned pale. Everyone understood what the fourth word sword light blooming meant. As everyone was shocked, the sword light of the fourth word became stronger and stronger and more. Soon, the fourth word sword light reached 1 million. And it took only a cup of tea. Everyone took a deep breath when they saw this result. At this rate, it may not take half a day for Yang Xiaoshan to completely comprehend the fourth word. Tailong Xianzhen, who spent 100,000 years to comprehend the fourth word, Yang Xiaoshan was able to comprehend it in less than half a day. Anyone who thought of this could not hide his shock. Soon, the sword light of the fourth word broke through 2 million. Then it was 3 million, 4 million, When the fourth word bloomed with 5 million sword lights, the light of the heaven and earth divine monument shone through the heaven and earth, and the entire Zumi divine mountain became brighter and brighter. The Zumi divine mountain, which had not changed for countless years, was actually shaking. At this moment, all the strong men felt the vibration of Mount Zumi. At this moment, Mount Zumi was excited and happy. 5 million sword ki. When they learned that Yangzai Ocean had already comprehended the fourth word of 5 million sword ki in just over an hour, the faces of the strong men of the Zumi divine sect were extremely complicated. Has the Zhao family's master not arrived yet? ZB asked his men with a gloomy face. Not yet. An old ancestor lowered his head and muttered, I heard that Zhao Yun has rushed here with all his strength, but I don't know if he can arrive within an hour. At most, Yangzai Ocean will be able to comprehend the fourth word. Therefore, if Zhao Yun wants to stop Yangzai Ocean, he must arrive within an hour. Master, we can't wait any longer. If we don't take action, Yangzai Ocean will be able to comprehend the divine monument of heaven and earth. The previous Shanshan realm Tezu said in a deep voice. Chapter 647, God of Medicine God dies. ZB's face was gloomy. Master, you can't hesitate any longer. If you continue like this, the mantle of the Lord of Heaven and Earth will fall into Yangzai Ocean's hands. Another great ancestor of the heavenly god realm said anxiously. ZB, who was originally hesitant, had murderous intent in his eyes. Just as he was about to give an order, Chen Zongzi suddenly said, Legend has it that the Lord of Heaven and Earth left his mantle on Mount Zumi to wait for the next eternal divine body to arrive. ZB was stunned. Chen Zongzi pondered and said, even if we stop Yangzai Ocean, we can't get the mantle of the Lord of Heaven and Earth. Then he said, Lin Zhu just said that Yangzai Ocean activated the power of the eternal divine body, so he was able to comprehend the fourth word. At this point, Chen Zongzi sighed and said, I was wrong before. He arrogantly thought that, as long as he was given a few hundred years, he would be able to comprehend the heaven and earth divine stele. Now he realized how foolish and ridiculous his previous idea was. ZB frowned. Even if we can't inherit the mantle of the Lord of Heaven and Earth, we can't let the mantle of the Lord of Heaven and Earth fall into the hands of Yangzai Ocean, the descendant of the ancient corpse demon clan. The previous Shanshan realm Tezu said in a deep voice. Chen Zongzi shook his head and smiled. The descendant of the ancient corpse demon clan? I'm afraid that after today, Yangzai Ocean will no longer be the descendant of the ancient corpse demon clan. Instead, he is the descendant of the Lord of Heaven and Earth. Everyone in Zumi divine sect was silent. At this moment, the sword light of the fourth word of the Heaven and Earth monument has reached 6 million. And it is still rising at an astonishing speed. 7 million. When the sword light of the fourth word reached 7 million words, the Zumi divine mountain shook more and more violently. Everyone was getting more and more nervous. There were still 3 million sword ki left before Yangzai Ocean could thoroughly comprehend the fourth word. 8 million. When the sword light of the fourth word reached 8 million, not only was the Zumi divine mountain shaking, but even the space around the Zumi divine mountain was shaking. Everyone could feel that the entire Zumi divine mountain and the airflow in the space around the Zumi divine mountain were boiling. Even countless dust was boiling. The divine radiance of the heaven and earth monument began to permeate the world. Under the divine radiance of the heaven and earth monument, everyone felt an unprecedented oppressive force. Even the 10th level peak ancestors of the gods could not bear this oppressive force. Everyone was shocked and retreated in shock. 9 million. When the sword light reached 9 million, Mount Zumi was shining. The sword light was infinite, and the divine radiance swept the world. Even if everyone had retreated to the edge of the square, they could not bear the oppressive force of the heaven and earth monument, and finally had to fly away from Mount Zumi. Everyone could only watch Yangzai Ocean and the heaven and earth monument change from afar. At this moment, a huge storm was rushing into the Zumi mountains at an astonishing speed. In the center of the storm was Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun was full of storms, divine flames, and a ferocious face. When he rushed to the Zumi mountains, he saw the sword light and divine radiance of the heaven and earth monument from afar. Zhao Yun felt the amazing sword light power of the heaven and earth monument. After being shocked, his eyes were more murderous, and he rushed towards Mount Zumi frantically. Yangzai Ocean, don't even think about comprehending the heaven and earth divine monument. Today, you must die. Zhao Yun's murderous voice, infused with his divine power, resounded throughout the Zumi Mountains. All the strong men in the Zumi Mountains heard Zhao Yun's voice and looked in Zhao Yun's direction in shock. It's Lord Storm Medicine God. Lord Storm Medicine God has arrived at the Zumi Mountains. Lord God of Medicine is still 1 million sword energies away from completely comprehending the fourth word. I'm afraid he won't be able to comprehend it thoroughly, many ancestors said in shock. With Zhao Yun's speed, I'm afraid Zhao Yun would arrive at the Zumi Divine Mountain before Yang Zai Ocean comprehended tens of millions of sword energies. In the battle at the Pharmacist's Hall, the Zhao family lost hundreds of 7-star and 8-star pharmacists, and even a 9-star medicine god. The Zhao family wished they could cut the god of medicine god with 10,000 swords. If Zhao Yun arrived, the god of medicine god would die. If Zhao Yun arrived, Yang Zai Ocean would not be able to resist Zhao Yun. Kishan Medicine God is one of the top 10 strongest men in Zhongshan continent. Zhao Yun is only 1 point weaker than Kishan Medicine God. Zhao Yun's strength is far beyond what Yang Zai Ocean can resist now. If the god of medicine god dies, I'm afraid that no one will be able to comprehend the heaven and earth divine monument. Many ancestors thought of this and felt sorry. In the shock of the crowd, the storm transformed by Zhao Yun kept approaching the Zumi Divine Mountain at a terrifying speed. At this moment, Yang Zai Ocean also heard Zhao Yun's voice. Feeling that Zhao Yun was rushing towards this side at an astonishing speed, Yang Zai Ocean's face sank. At that moment, he frantically activated the Eternal Divine Body, and the river of time accelerated the flow again, and the remaining millions of sword energies also accelerated the changes. 1, 2, thousands, 10,000, 100,000. The light of the heaven and earth divine monument became stronger and stronger, and the heavy divine light spread to the surrounding mountains. And the storm transformed by Zhao Yun was getting closer and closer. Just when Yang Zai Ocean had only 10,000 sword ki left to comprehend the fourth word, and he could fully comprehend the heaven and earth monument, Zhao Yun finally saw Mount Zumi, the heaven and earth monument, and Yang Zai Ocean from afar. The sun-swallowing divine sword appeared in Zhao Yun's hand. His eyes were fierce, and he suddenly slashed at Yang Zai Ocean with a sword. Yang Zai Ocean, die. Boundless sword ki flew out, and the sun fire in the sun-swallowing divine sword rolled, and turned into a huge and incomparable river of divine fire swords, spanning thousands of miles to kill Yang Zai Ocean. Feeling the terrifying power of Zhao Yun's sword river, the powerful men gathered around Mount Zumi all changed color, and fled in fear. The divine fire sword river brushed past the powerful men, and continued to bombard Yang Zai Ocean. Even the divine brilliance of the heaven and earth monument was blasted through by the divine fire sword river. Zhao Yun's divine fire sword river was about to blow Yang Zai Ocean away. If Yang Zai Ocean was hit by this attack, not only would his comprehension be completely interrupted, but he would also be blown away, and even seriously injured and killed. After all, Zhao Yun was one of the 5 10-star medicine gods in Zhongshan continent, and a strong man above the 10th level of the heavenly god. Yang Zai Ocean was only at the 10th level of the Holy Realm, which was far from Zhao Yun's vast power. Zhao Yun had a ferocious look on his face. Just when Yang Zai Ocean was about to be blown away, suddenly, a majestic voice sounded at the end of the Zumi Mountains. Zhao Yun, this is the Zumi Mountains, not your Zhao family. You don't dare to be so arrogant. As soon as the words fell, an extremely powerful sword energy broke through the air. This sword energy spanned many spaces, passed through many mountains, and faced the divine fire sword river. Seeing this extremely powerful sword energy, many ancestors changed their faces and thought of an existence. Zumi Sword Master, a powerful casual cultivator with an extremely strange temperament. He has been practicing hard in the Zumi Mountains, comprehending the way of the sword, and is very powerful. He is one of the top 10 strongest men in the Zumi Mountains. You should know that the Zumi Divine Sect is the #1 sect in Jinzhou, and there are many masters in the sect. This Zumi Sword Master can become one of the top 10 strongest men in the Zumi Mountains. His strength has surpassed many ancestors of the empire. No one expected that Zumi Sword Master would take action at this time. Zhao Yun saw that Zumi Sword Master dared to stop him, and he could not help but increase the power of the sword river, and was furious. Get out. The sword energy of the divine fire sword river surged again. Everyone was nervous. Although Zumi Swordmaster is one of the top 10 strongest men in the Zumi Mountains, it is still a bit difficult to stop Zhao Yun. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 648. I don't believe you can escape from Mount Zumi. There was a loud rumble that shook the heavens. The sword energy of Zumi and the river of divine fire sword collided with each other. The terrifying power exploded. The terrifying airwaves spread. Countless strong men retreated in fear. Even so, many ancestors of the divine realm were still blown away and smashed into the surrounding mountains. Even the strong men at the peak of the 10th level of the divine realm were also blown away. The sky was dark. It was like the end of the world. A huge shock sounded from the end of the Zumi Mountains. The Zumi Swordmaster, who was originally in the cave, was shaken back by this blow and hit the mountain behind, which was smashed into countless sand and dust. All the strong men looked at the storm medicine god Zhao Yun in horror. Previously, in the competition of the Pharmacist General Hall, Zhao Yun was handed over to Yang Xiaoshan. Many people teased Zhao Yun as the violent chicken medicine god. Many people who teased Zhao Yun now looked at Zhao Yun with pale faces. Zhao Yun repelled Zumi Swordmaster with one blow. His divine power was overwhelming, and his eyes were cold. Whoever dares to stop me again will die. At this point, he suddenly swung his sword at Yang Xiaoshan again. This time, he fully mobilized the power of the godhead, and the vast power of the god swallowed the sky and the earth, and blasted towards Yang Xiaoshan. Yang Xiaoshan, no one can save you today. Zhao Yun's killing intent was as real as substance, sweeping across the world. The strong men from all sides shuddered. Seeing Zhao Yun's divine fire sword river blasting towards Yang Xiaoshan again, everyone's heart tightened. Even Zumi Swordmaster couldn't block Zhao Yun's attack. Now, Zhao Yun's attack was even stronger. Who else could block Zhao Yun's attack? Zumi Swordmaster was shocked and hit the mountain behind him. His eyes were furious, and he broke through the air. Millions of flying swords were suspended from his body. He swung them out suddenly. 10,000 swords kill God. Millions of flying swords shot out violently and turned into a rolling sword river. The sword river blasted out, and countless mountains were blasted through. The sound of millions of flying swords resounded throughout the Zumi Mountains. At this moment, everyone felt the terrifying Zumi sword energy, and everyone was also shocked by the terrifying strength of Zumi Swordmaster. Crazy? Everyone was shocked to see Zumi Swordmaster actually try to stop Zhao Yun again. Zumi Swordmaster knew that he was no match for Zhao Yun, but he still tried. This was simply a fight to the death. Looking for death. Zhao Yun's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He frantically urged the power of the godhead. At the same time, the divine light on his body surged, and the power of one god body after another awakened. 4 great god bodies. 3 are innate god bodies, and 1 is acquired through cultivation. And each one is an extremely powerful god body. Zhao Yun is one of the 5 10-star medicine gods in Zhongshan continent. He was the son of the Zhao family back then, and his martial arts talent is also very strong. In the sky-shaking sound, Zumi Swordmaster's million sword rivers collided with Zhao Yun's divine fire sword river again. The space seemed to be torn open with an amazing crack. All the surrounding rocks were blown away by the terrifying airwaves and destructive power. The powerful men who had just been blown away retreated in fear again. At the end of the Zumi Mountains, Zumi Swordmaster was blown away, and all the mountains behind him were blown away. Zumi Swordmaster retreated to the end of the sky and spurted out a mouthful of blood. Zhao Yun didn't care about Zumi Swordmaster, and he was about to use his sword to kill Yang Xiaoshan again. Just as he was about to use his sword again, he suddenly saw the divine light of the heaven and earth monument was shaken, and the sword light of the 4th word suddenly reached tens of millions. Seeing the tens of millions of sword lights of the 4th word, Zhao Yun's face changed drastically. Many ancestors also noticed the changes in the heaven and earth monument. Tens of millions of sword energy. The god of medicine has comprehended the heaven and earth monument. After millions of years, the heaven and earth monument has finally been comprehended by someone. An ancestor shouted excitedly. Die. Zhao Yun saw this, with a ferocious face, and the sun-swallowing divine sword in his hand madly hit Yang Ocean. At this moment, the sun-swallowing divine sword violently shot out billions of divine flame sword energy. The overwhelming divine flame sword energy shot towards Yang Ocean. Just as the millions of divine flames were shooting at Yang Ocean, suddenly, the heaven and earth divine monument burst out with unprecedented divine light. The divine light was like a vast ocean, endless, drowning the end of the sky, and also drowning Zhao Yun's millions of divine flames. An eternal power also burst out from the divine monument. Everyone saw that Zhao Yun's millions of divine flames became as slow as a snail. Slowly, it shot towards Yang Ocean little by little. No, to be precise, it crawled towards Yang Ocean. Everyone was shocked and looked strange. According to Zhao Yun's millions of divine flames, it might not be able to crawl to Yang Ocean even after several years. No one expected that after Yang Ocean comprehended the heaven and earth divine monument, the heaven and earth divine monument would suddenly burst out with such power. This is a terrifying power of time. An old ancestor exclaimed. Time can slow down everything, even the attack of a powerful person like the 10th level of the heavenly god becomes slow. The Zumi divine mountain was even more shaken, and it gushed out layers of light. The energy of heaven and earth was generated from every space of Mount Zumi, and poured into Yang Ocean's body crazily. Yang Ocean, who was originally in the middle stage of the 10th level of the Holy Realm, was rising again. Zhao Yun felt Yang Ocean's rising energy. His face changed, and his whole body of divine power was activated. The sun-swallowing divine sword in his hand once again burst out with terrifying sword energy, and he struck out again in disbelief. Yang Ocean, even if you comprehend the heaven and earth divine monument, you will still die. I don't believe you can escape from Mount Zumi. Zhao Yun roared. Billions of sword energy once again burst out towards Yang Ocean. However, when billions of sword energy bombarded the divine monument square, it slowed down again due to the influence of the time power of the heaven and earth divine monument. Seeing this, Zhao Yun struck out crazily again. However, no matter how he attacked, his sword energy and strength could never break through the time power of the heaven and earth divine monument. The time power of the heaven and earth divine monument was left by the Lord of heaven and earth. Although Zhao Yun was strong, how could he break the time power of the Lord of heaven and earth? Let alone Zhao Yun, even if Talon Xianzhen, Taishi Xiandi, Xiango Demon God, and Hades of Hell came, they could not break through. In Zhao Yun's crazy bombardment, Yang Ocean's aura was still rising steadily. Finally, his whole body was shining again, and he broke through to the late 10th level of the Holy Realm. When he broke through the late 10th level of the Holy Realm, the 12th Hongmeng Holy Fruit of the Sea of Gods condensed. The power of the Hongmeng Holy Power on Yang Ocean swept across the world, and the aura was so strong that all the gods at the peak of the 10th level changed color. Seeing that Yang Ocean had broken through to the late 10th level of the Holy Realm, Zhao Yun's face was as gloomy as water. Unexpectedly, he still failed in the end, and Yang Ocean comprehended the heaven and earth divine stele. He was full of murderous intent, and looked at Zumi Swordmaster at the end of the Zumi Mountains. If Zumi Swordmaster had not stopped him, Yang Ocean would not have been able to comprehend the heaven and earth divine stele. In Zhao Yun's rage, the sun-swallowing divine sword swung at Zumi Swordmaster. Zumi Swordmaster was startled and retreated in panic. Zhao Yun's sword energy passed through the place where he was standing originally, and the mountains were split in half by the sword energy. At this time, a space crack suddenly appeared in front of the heaven and earth divine monument, and the powerful devouring force swallowed Yang Ocean in. Yang Ocean disappeared in front of everyone. Chapter 649, Inheritance of the Lord of Heaven and Earth. Yang Ocean was swallowed by the space, and was shocked to find that he had come to a grey space. Is this a cloud? Yang Ocean looked at the grey clouds in front of him, and looked forward, only to see a group of sands of time swimming in front of him. Seeing the sands of time, Yang Ocean was surprised, but happy. He remembered that Kishin Ocean said that there was sands of time in the deepest part of Zumi Mountain. Could this be the deepest part of Zumi Mountain? I'm afraid it is. Unexpectedly, after he comprehended the heaven and earth divine monument, the heaven and earth divine monument brought him to the deepest part of Zumi Mountain. This saved him a lot of effort. Looking at so many sands of time in front of him, Yang Xiaoshan was overjoyed. Originally, he thought that, even if there were sands of time in the deepest part of Zumi Mountain, it would not be more than the galaxy space of the Forest of Destiny, but so many sands of time in front of him, not only more than the galaxy space, but much more. If he completely refines the sands of time here, his eternal divine body will be able to improve again. Yang Xiaoshan walked forward in joy. Faintly, he saw a wooden house in front of him. The wooden house was simple, but it was filled with a magical power. It was this power that made the wooden house not decay after countless years. Yang Xiaoshan's heart moved, and he came to the wooden house. Heaven and earth are one heart. There was a wooden plaque hanging on the wooden house. Looking at the 4 words heaven and earth are one heart on this long plaque, Yang Xiaoshan's heart was shocked, and a light seemed to flash through his mind, and suddenly he had a sense of enlightenment. The most unpredictable thing in the world is the power of the heart. If you can cultivate to the point where the heaven and earth are one heart, what a great power it will be. The heaven and earth divine monument was the heaven and earth are one heart, and now it is the heaven and earth are one heart. Feeling the sword energy contained in the heaven and earth are one heart, Yang Xiaoshan's 15 sword hearts began to emit bursts of 9-color sword light. It shines with the power contained in the heaven and earth are one heart. Yang Xiaoshan entered the state of selflessness. I don't know how long it took before the power of Yang Xiaoshan's 15 sword hearts gradually converged and disappeared. Yang Xiaoshan woke up. Previously, although Yang Xiaoshan had comprehended the realm of selflessness, he had only just entered the threshold of the realm of selflessness. After this comprehension, his realm of selflessness finally achieved a small success. Previously, when he entered the realm of selflessness, he could only integrate into the surrounding world within a few miles, and could only rely on the power of the world within a few miles. Now, the power of the world he relied on was more than 10 times stronger. Yang Xiaoshan walked into the wooden house. The wooden house was very simple, with only dozens of square meters in it, and many books were placed on it. Apart from that, there was nothing else. Yang Xiaoshan was puzzled. Didn't it say that, after comprehending the divine monument of heaven and earth, one could obtain the inheritance of the master of heaven and earth? These books are the inheritance of the master of heaven and earth. He couldn't help but step forward and flip through these books. Many of these books are the top unique skills in the prehistoric period. Finally, he found a book of heaven and earth swordsmanship. This book of heaven and earth swordsmanship is the strongest swordsmanship of the master of heaven and earth. There are 4 moves in the heaven and earth swordsmanship. One is the same brilliance of heaven and earth, the second is the same heart of heaven and earth, the third is the same power of heaven and earth, and the fourth is the same life of heaven and earth. Yang Xiaoshan read it carefully from beginning to end, and then looked through the notes of the Lord of Heaven and Earth. After reading the notes of the Lord of Heaven and Earth, Yang Xiaoshan realized that what was left here was only half of the Lord of Heaven and Earth's inheritance. The other half of the Lord of Heaven and Earth's inheritance was in Kunlun Mountain on the Wanjian continent. The Heaven and Earth sword was at the top of Kunlun Mountain. Not only the Heaven and Earth sword, but also Kunlun Mountain had the Heavenly God pill of the Heavenly God level that he left behind. Yang Xiaoshan was speechless. No wonder some people said that Kunlun Mountain was something left by the Lord of Heaven and Earth. According to his notes, Kunlun Mountain was indeed something he left behind, but it was obtained by him in the prehistoric battlefield. Kunlun Mountain. Yang Xiaoshan said to himself. It seems that he has to go back to Wanjian continent again. However, Uncle Ding said at the beginning that, if he wanted to climb Kunlun Mountain, his eternal divine body must be cultivated to perfection. Yang Xiaoshan put all the books in the wooden house into the Bilong Shanding, then walked out, and began to refine the sand of time here. While refining the sand of time, Yang Xiaoshan did not forget to swallow the destiny fruit, to practice the ancient dragon art and the destiny art. Time passed. Yang Xiaoshan's strength was steadily improving. Outside the Zumi Divine Mountain, there were many strong men. The news that Yang Xiaoshan had comprehended the heaven and earth divine stele had spread, and all parties were shocked. More and more strong men came to the Zumi Mountains, so the Zumi Divine Mountain was crowded with people. At this time, Zhao Ji, the head of the Zhao family, and a group of masters of the Zhao family had also arrived. Zhao Yun stared at the heaven and earth divine Steely with a gloomy face and said to Zhao Ji, pass the order to hunt down Zumi Sword Master. Bring the head of Zumi Sword Master. You can get 1 billion top grade spirit stones. Everyone was shocked. You know, that was 1 billion top grade spirit stones, not top grade. Yes, ancestor. Zhao Ji replied respectfully. Also, see lawful spaces around Mount Zumi, and don't let Yangzai Ocean escape. Zhao Yun said in a cold voice. As soon as Yangzai Ocean appears, attack him with all your strength. Don't let him break through the realm of the gods. The masters of the Zhao family responded, and then sealed off Mount Zumi, waiting for Yangzai Ocean to appear. Time passed in the mountains. Spring went and winter came. Another year passed. Unknowingly, Yangzai Ocean had been in the deepest space of Mount Zumi for a year. During this year, he continuously swallowed the Destiny Divine Fruit to practice. His Hunyuan Xianming Divine Body finally broke through to the peak of the 7th level, and was only half a step away from breaking through to the 8th level. And his Eternal Divine Body broke through faster, already at the peak of the 8th level, and only half a step away from the 9th level. On this day, Yangzai Ocean swallowed another Destiny Divine Fruit to practice. The whole body was shining. Finally, he made another breakthrough, and entered the peak of the late 10th level of the Holy Realm. The 13th Hangmeng Holy Fruit condensed. The night was quiet. A figure flew out from the deepest space of Mount Zumi, so fast that even many powerful people in the first level of the Heavenly God Realm could hardly see it clearly. The person who came out from the deepest space of Mount Zumi was Yangzai Ocean. After more than a year in the deepest space of Mount Zumi, he finally refined all the sands of time in it, and his eternal body successfully broke through to the 9th level. Although the Hunyuan Xianming body was a little slower, it also broke through to the 8th level. Soon, Yangzai Ocean came to the Xiandi Divine Monument Square. Since it was late at night and more than a year had passed since Yangzai Ocean comprehended the Xiandi Divine Monument, there were not many people. The Zhao family originally blocked Mount Zumi, but under pressure from powerful people from all sides, they finally opened the blockade. Later, Kishan Medicine God and the powerful people from the Pharmacist General Hall arrived, and Zhao Yun could only lead the Zhao family masters to retreat. Therefore, at this moment, no Zhao family masters were seen around Mount Zumi. Yangzai Ocean pondered. To successfully survive the Great Tribulation, he had to speed up the collection of the 15 swords. In addition to the Heaven and Earth sword, there were 5 swords left. Next, he planned to enter the Great Temple to get the Destiny Sword. However, the Great Temple was in an important place in the Heavenly Court, guarded by many powerful people and heavy soldiers. It was impossible to force his way in. How could he enter the Great Temple? Chapter 650, Sea of Heavenly Beasts. Yangzai Ocean paused for a while, and flew back to the Pharmacist Hall. Jian Xianjun was the leader of the 10 great celestial monarchs. If he agreed, he would have no problem entering the Honghuan Temple. Kishan Yaoshan had a good relationship with Jian Xianjun, so he wanted to ask Kishan Yaoshan for help. The Abyss spaceship turned into a stream of light and quickly returned to the Shenzhou Pharmacist Hall. On the spaceship, Yangzai Ocean took out the Kangshen sword and began to practice Kangshen sword technique over and over again. Many years ago, he had already practiced Kangshen sword technique to the pinnacle. After practicing again and again, Yangzai Ocean's Kangshen sword ki became stronger and stronger, and more amazing. The Kangshen sword ki condensed around Yangzai Ocean, like a stream, constantly gathered and evolved. The Kangshen sword ki became more and more agile, as if something was about to be born from it. I don't know how long it took, and finally, with a buzzing sound, the vast Kangshen sword ki continued to condense and became a sword body that exuded amazing sword light. This sword body condensed by the Kangshen sword energy is the same as the Kangshen sword, but this sword body is all condensed by the Kangshen sword energy, and has no entity. This is exactly the Kangshen sword intention. The first strongest sword intention has finally been cultivated. Others have practiced for countless years and still cannot comprehend the strongest sword intention. But for Yangzai Ocean, who has comprehended the 15 invincible sword hearts, everything is a natural result. After comprehending the Kangshen sword intention, Yangzai Ocean did not stop and continued to practice the Tangshan sword technique and comprehend the Tangshan sword intention. After a few days, the Tangshan sword energy gathered again. The Tangshan sword intention was cultivated. Then, Yang Xiaoshan took out the shadow sword, practiced the shadow sword technique, and comprehended the shadow sword intention. When Yang Xiaoshan returned to the pharmacist hall, he had already cultivated 9 strongest sword intentions. Being able to cultivate one strongest sword intention is already an unparalleled genius in the sword. But Yang Xiaoshan, in one breath, cultivated all 9 sword techniques to the 9 strongest sword intentions. If the news that Yang Xiaoshan cultivated the 9 most powerful sword intents in one breath spread, I wonder what the many sword gods who have been famous for millions of years would think. Peng Long and Zi Wuxin were overjoyed to see Yang Xiaoshan return, and congratulated Yang Xiaoshan. Now the news that Yang Xiaoshan comprehended the heaven and earth divine monument, and inherited the inheritance of the Lord of Heaven and Earth has been known to everyone in Zhongshan continent. Yang Xiaoshan asked the two about their cultivation and the recent situation in Zhongshan continent. The two of them cultivated with Yang Xiaoshan's elixir, and their cultivation improved rapidly. The two who were already at the peak of the 10th level of the divine spirit finally showed signs of breaking through the heavenly god realm. However, when talking about the situation in Zhongshan continent, Peng Long and Zi Wuxin could not hide their worries. His Majesty Taishi and Lord Yuan Wei are missing, and there has been no news. The Xianggu Corpse Demon Clan, the Nether Demon Clan, and the 9 Nether Demon Clan have been causing chaos everywhere in Zhongshan continent these days. First, the ancestors of the Zhuanggang Empire and the Linyuan Empire were killed, and then the patriarch of the ancient Golden God clan was killed. In the past 2 years, more than 20 ancestors of the empire have been killed, dozens of ancient and ancient god clan leaders have been killed, and some families were even wiped out overnight. Peng Long said in a low voice, these empires and god clans, and families all participated in the Battle of Xiandi City. At the beginning, the Xianggu demon god once said that, if any family dared to intervene, its 9 clans would be wiped out afterwards. Now, the people of Zhongshan continent are in panic. Zi Wuxin said, the Zhao family has been offering a reward for the young master and Zumi sword master these days. Zumi sword master has been hunted down by the Zhao family and all parties. I heard that Lord Han Feng saved Zumi sword master back then. Yang Xiaoshan was stunned. Master saved Zumi sword master. No wonder. No wonder Zumi sword master would try to stop Zhao Yun. Is there any news about Senior Chen? Yang Xiaoshan asked, referring to the old man of time. The two shook their heads. Afterwards, Yang Xiaoshan went to Kishan Medicine God Palace to find Kishan Medicine God. Seeing Yang Xiaoshan, Kishan Medicine God couldn't help but sigh. He smiled and said, Brother Yang comprehended the divine monument of heaven and earth, and inherited the inheritance of the Lord of heaven and earth. Now many people don't call Brother Yang the god of medicine. Then he smiled and said, many people now call Brother Yang the Lord of Hangmeng. Lord of Hangmeng? Yang Xiaoshan was stunned, shook his head and smiled. I'm not even a god now, how can I be a lord? Then he told Kishan Medicine God about the Hanghuang temple. Knowing that Yang Xiaoshan was going to enter the Hanghuang temple, Kishan Medicine God frowned and said, it's difficult to enter the Hanghuang temple. Even Zhan Xianjun can't make the decision. Now that His Majesty Taishi is not here, I'm afraid you want to enter. I'm afraid you have to get the consent of the 10 great Xianjuns. Even if the 9 great Xianjuns agreed that Yang Xiaoshan could enter the Hanghuang temple, one Xianjun would not agree. The medicine god of heaven said again, some time ago, one Xianjun united the 3 Xianjuns, and wanted to make Xianjun hang the young emperor, saying that the heaven cannot be without a master for a day, and that if Xianjun hangs the young emperor, it can stabilize people's hearts. Yang Xiaoshan's heart sank. Want to make Xianjun hang the young emperor? If Xianjun hangs the young emperor, then he will have no place to stand in Xian's Han continent. It will even be difficult to stand in other continents. However, Zhan Xianjun, Zhao Xianjun, and Yan Xianjun are all strongly opposed, saying that they will decide after His Majesty Taishi comes back. Kishan Medicine God said. Yang Xiaoshan pondered and said, is there any other way to enter the Hanghuang temple? Unless you have the Hanghuang heaven sword. Kishan Medicine God said, those who hold the Hanghuang heaven sword can be regarded as the descendants of the Hanghuang heaven emperor, and can enter the Hanghuang temple. Hanghuang heaven sword. Yang Xiaoshen's heart sank. Do I have to enter the Teku Sword Ruins? Even his master, Lord Hanfeng, had gone to the ancient sword ruins, but his attempt to enter them was ignored, and he disappeared without a trace. With his current strength, if he entered the ancient sword ruins, he would be dead. After a while, Yang Xiaoshen left the palace of Kishan Medicine God. Hong Huang Heavenly Sword. He chanted. After thinking about it, he decided to enter the ancient sword ruins to find the Hong Huang Heavenly Sword. But with his current strength, he would die if he entered the ancient sword ruins. Therefore, he had to go to the Sea of Heavenly Beasts to find Lord Ding. If he had Lord Ding, he would have no problem entering the ancient sword ruins. Moreover, he had just asked Kishan Medicine God that there was a heavenly beast sword in the depths of the Sea of Heavenly Beasts. The heavenly beast sword was also one of the 10 great swords of Zongshan continent. It was forged by a powerful being in the ancient times who killed the king of heavenly beasts with his bones, flesh, and beast soul. However, he had now used up all the destiny divine fruit and god-breaking pill. Before going to the Sea of Heavenly Beasts, Yang Xiaoshen bought enough medicinal materials at the Medicinal Materials Trading Office of the Pharmacist General Hall, and used the 4 divine fires to refine a batch of 3 Tribulation Heaven grade god-breaking pills, and then swallowed them with the Destiny Divine Fruit. After everything was ready, Yang Xiaoshen went to the Sea of Heavenly Beasts with Peng Long and Zi Wuxin. After arriving at the Sea of Heavenly Beasts, he drove the Abyss spaceship directly to the depths of the Sea of Heavenly Beasts. He was not worried about not being able to find Master Ding. As long as he was within a certain range, he could sense Master Ding. However, just when Yang Xiaoshen and his companions entered the depths of the Sea of Heavenly Beasts, the roars of billions of heavenly beasts suddenly sounded in the Sea of Heavenly Beasts. Hearing the crazy roars of billions of heavenly beasts, Peng Long's face changed drastically. Beast tide. Once a beast tide occurs in the Sea of Heavenly Beasts, even the heavenly god realm may perish. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.